Su Ning also entrusts Feng Xiu with the large stock of pills he prepared for Tao Tao, asking him to give them according to her condition as she grows. As for the people around her, Su Ning sends Chu Yang to serve Wan Yi instead, and helps Gui Yi build his own trading company in Yunying City under Wei family support. Even as a mortal realm man, Gui Yi now commands Void Realm subordinates simply because everyone knows he is Su Ning's brother. When Su Ning says goodbye to his family and friends, the mood is heavy, but everyone understands he has to leave the abyss north for a larger world. After that, Su Ning also parts from Yixingye, He Minji, Xiying, Xiaowenwei, and the others before leaving State Feyin behind. He leaves the reserve pills behind for Little Gray, because this time he is taking only Gray and Cyan with him. Little Gray is depressed but understands, and in the end it agrees to go to Yunying City and serve as Tao Tao's mount instead. Wan Yi personally escorts Su Ning and the others all the way to the abyss north coastline and sees them onto the ship. Those pills Su Ning made are the reason Wan Yi is still standing at all. But even with some relief, the old man knows he can only place the future of Swallow Hair Insect on Su Ning's shoulders. Then Su Ning sails for State Wanxing with Ting Yukong, Gu Man, and dozens of captured Jade Knight sect disciples under escort. After nearly 3 dangerous months on the endless sea, the ship finally comes within half a day's distance of State Wanxing. On deck, Ting Yukong points out a strange sight to Su Ning: Dao weapon fishing boats working the sea even this close to shore. Su Ning watches martial artists using artifacts and even Dao weapons to drag fierce demon beasts from the sea, and the scale of State Wanxing starts sinking in. Ting Yukong explains that the endless sea is dangerous but packed with resources, and there are even rumors of hidden mystic realms beneath it. Su Ning is stunned that a place this deadly can be treated like a fishery, but Ting Yukong says these sea foraging masters are mostly unofficial sect members and lone experts. Ting Yukong adds that State Wanxing is still mostly made of ordinary people, but martial arts are easier to access there, and the upper limit is far higher once someone begins. That helps Su Ning recalibrate his expectations, because even as a Dao realm expert, he now understands he is entering a land where true scale works differently. 6 hours later, the Dao weapon ship strikes the coastal rocks and finally reaches State Wanxing safely. Ting Yukong and Gu Man are openly relieved, because even with 3 Dao realm masters aboard, the endless sea is never a safe crossing. The moment Su Ning steps onto shore, the dense spiritual energy of State Wanxing hits him so hard that he instantly feels like he has entered a better world for cultivation. He even judges that in a place like this, he could recover from a single battle in only 4 hours. But Su Ning does not linger, because the first thing he has to do in this new land is go find Ling Ran in Fenghe Canton. He parts on good terms with Ting Yukong and Gu Man, who again invite him to visit the Source Sect in State Wanxing someday. The 2 Source Sect masters head off with their newly absorbed high-level Void Realm recruits, pleased with how much this trip has strengthened their sect. Su Ning sets out alone on his own mission, taking Gray at his side while Cyan and Su Hujuan stay hidden inside the Demon Beast Scroll as he heads toward Fenghe Canton in State Guqing. After a long journey, Su Ning finally reaches Fenghe Canton in State Wanxing and is struck by just how enormous this place is. As he takes in the state, Su Ning realizes its massive population and rich cultivation environment explain why State Wanxing produces so many top masters. He also learns the rules here are different. Inside the cities, even Dao realm experts must obey the imperial court, while the wilds outside are left to the martial world. Gray is delighted by the dense spiritual energy, and Su Ning promises that once he finds Ling Ran and recovers the Swallow Hair Insect treasury, they can settle down and eventually bring out Su Hujuan and Cyan too. Su Ning enters a county city in Fenghe Canton and immediately notices that this single county is already far larger and stronger than the places he came from. The patrols make the point even clearer, because the weakest soldiers are already at High Mortal Realm and their leaders are in the Void Realm. Knowing a crowded restaurant is the fastest place to gather martial world news, Su Ning heads for the best one in the county. Inside, even the waiter is a Mortal Realm 9th stage martial artist, and that alone shows how intense State Wanxing's culture of cultivation is. The waiter proudly explains that working in a place like this pays in cultivation resources, so even odd jobs can become a path toward the Void Realm. Su Ning orders a few expensive delicacies, then stops the waiter and offers a pure source pill in exchange for one useful answer. The waiter immediately recognizes the name, and tells him Master Alchemist Ling Ran is living in the faint bamboo forest outside Luoxiu County. Su Ning hands over the pill, pleased that he found Ling Ran's location almost as soon as he arrived. Before Su Ning can leave it at that, a refined man named Jing Yiqing approaches and asks if he is also heading to the faint bamboo forest to become Ling Ran's disciple. Su Ning says he only wants to visit Ling Ran, but Jing Yiqing bluntly warns that anyone who is not an old friend will not be able to meet her directly. Su Ning invites him to sit, and the two formally introduce themselves. Jing Yiqing notices Gray looks unusual, but he quickly shifts back to the real topic and guesses from Su Ning's destination that he must be an alchemist too. He explains that people seek out Ling Ran either to become her disciple or to learn from her, because her reputation in alchemy is famous across State Guqing. Jing Yiqing admits this is already his 3rd attempt, and says every 10 years at least 100 alchemists come to challenge Ling Ran's disciple assessment. That catches Su Ning's attention, because for the first time since leaving the Abyss North, he may finally be able to measure himself against a real alchemy circle. So instead of insisting on his original reason for coming, Suning agrees to join the disciple assessment alongside Jiniching. Jiniching explains that passing the test only earns in-name disciple status, while true core disciple positions are extremely rare and usually reserved for master-level talent. Hearing that, Suning quietly rethinks Lingran's standing and realizes she must have enough influence to keep the Swallow Heron sect treasury safe when others could not. The two finish their meal together, and Gray barely reacts to the expensive dishes that would impress most martial artists. Suning leaves for the faint bamboo forest with Jiniching, but because he slows down to match Jiniching's speed, the trip takes nearly 10 days. When they finally arrive, the faint bamboo forest looks less like a grove and more like a vast green sea stretching without end. Jiniching gets visibly fired up at the sight, because this third attempt is the one he came to stake everything on. They barely step onto the bamboo path before a white-clothed swordsman flashes out to stop them and demand their purpose. Suning immediately senses the guard is a Dao realm body-smelting master, while Jiniching calmly explains they are here for Lingran's disciple assessment. The guard allows the two men inside but refuses to let Gray enter the bamboo forest with them. Suning accepts the rule at once, and Gray turns into a silver blur and leaves to wait outside until he is done. The guard warns them the assessment only has 150 spots and more than 100 candidates are already inside, so they need to hurry. As they walk deeper in, Jiniching explains that the swordsman is not a disciple at all but one of Lingran's followers, people chosen to maintain this place in exchange for top-quality pills. That arrangement makes sense to Suning, because serving a master alchemist like Lingran is itself a valuable opportunity. Deeper in the forest, Suning sees more white-clothed followers and strangely tamed demon beasts moving around like house pets instead of wild monsters. The assessment ground finally opens up ahead, a broad brick clearing with 150 tables laid out in neat rows. Most of the waiting candidates are high-level Void Realm alchemists, with only a few already at Dao Realm, and the atmosphere is heavy with quiet concentration. Jiniching tells Suning the rule here is simple: find an empty table, sit down, and your spot is secured. Suning decides to take the assessment first, because passing it will let him see how State Wanqing's alchemists really measure up before he meets Lingran in person. He and Jiniching claim two connected tables in the corner and settle in to wait. While Jiniching closes his eyes to steady himself, Suning stays relaxed and studies the equipment laid out in front of him. Each table comes with the same small pill furnace and burning wood, making it clear this assessment is designed to strip away external advantages. Suning immediately understands why. Because special gear like his own Dao weapon furnace could still tilt the odds if outside equipment were allowed. Hours pass into the night as more and more candidates arrive, until the assessment ground is nearly full. Then the quiet venue suddenly stirs when a handsome man in a green robe walks in and people around the square start whispering the same name, Gao Shitsa. The whispers make his status obvious, because everyone acts like Gao Shitsa is not just another candidate but someone expected to claim a core disciple spot. Gao Shitsa ignores the noise completely, takes an empty seat with smooth confidence, and Suning watches closely as he realizes this famous newcomer matters. When Gao Shitsa's name comes up in the waiting area, Jiniching is stunned that Suning has never heard of him. Jiniching explains that Gao Shitsa is a famous martial arts family talent and a master alchemist who is clearly aiming for Lingran's core disciple spot. That reputation makes Suning realize Lingran's alchemy level must be high enough to draw even someone like Gao Shitsa here. By the next morning the last candidate arrives, and a white-clothed attendant announces that the assessment will officially begin at noon. The news hits hard, because for many ordinary alchemists this test could decide whether their path still has a future. At noon, a group of Dao Realm disciples emerges from deep in the bamboo forest, led by a cold woman in a light yellow dress. Jiniching quietly tells Suning that this woman is Pei Shuwen, one of Lingran's core disciples, not Lingran herself. Pei Shuwen notices Gao Shitsa right away and gives him a quiet nod, while the other core disciples practically treat him as a future junior brother already. Pei Shuwen lays out the rules. 2 rounds, qualified candidates become in-name disciples, and only the best will personally meet Lingran for a chance at true core disciple status. Her final warning is blunt: anyone caught cheating or swapping pills will lose any chance with faint bamboo forest and likely ruin their name in State Guqing's alchemy world too. Servants bring out the first round materials, and Suning sees 5 very basic pill formulas laid out in 15 total sets. Then the first real pressure lands. Every one of the 15 pills must succeed, because wasting even one set of materials means instant failure. Pei Shuwen makes it worse by demanding at least 8 superior grade pills out of the 15, a requirement high enough to crush most of the field before they even start. The 4-hour timer starts, and while most candidates move nervously, Pei Shuwen and the core disciples focus almost all their attention on Gao Shitsa. Gao Shitsa immediately shocks the field by dumping all 15 sets of materials into one furnace and refining all 5 pill types at once. As his Dao Realm alchemy technique runs smoothly from start to finish, even Pei Shuwen can tell his skill has climbed to another level. A string of muffled pops announces the result, and 15 pills leap out together onto Gao Shitsa's table. Pei Shuwen checks the batch and goes stiff when she finds 8 superior grade pills and 7 perfect ones. That performance instantly changes how the core disciples see Gaojitsa, because this future junior brother is already stronger than many of them. Gaojitsa casually asks if he has passed, and Pei Shuwen can only tell him to wait for the second assessment. Before that shock settles, a white-clothed monitor hurries over and points out that Su Ning has also already finished all 15 pills. The examiners rush over and find Su Ning sitting calmly behind another full row of finished pills, fast enough to match Gaojitsa. When Pei Shuwen starts checking Su Ning's pills, the result hits even harder than before. All 15 of Su Ning's pills are perfect, turning Gaojitsa's incredible result into second place in a single moment. The impossible score makes some of the disciples suspect pill swapping, because a full set of perfect pills feels absurd even by master alchemist standards. The monitor confirms he watched Su Ning the whole time, and Su Ning really did throw all 15 sets into the furnace and refine these pills himself. Su Ning's quiet arrival from nowhere unsettles everyone far more than Gaojitsa's fame ever did, and Gaojitsa feels that first real sting of frustration. Gaojitsa steadies himself by deciding the first round only tested basics, and the second round will be where true pill refinement decides who is better. Pei Shuwen drops her earlier distance, walks up to Su Ning, and directly asks for his name. After Su Ning gives only his name, Pei Shuwen still treats him as someone almost certain to become this year's new core disciple. The field erupts in whispers about the unknown Su Ning, and even Jin Yiqing is left reeling at how badly he misjudged the man he traveled with. Jin Yiqing forces himself to calm down and focus, knowing he has no choice but to fight for his own pass instead of comparing himself to Su Ning. While Su Ning waits quietly and notices Gaojitsa watching him like a rival, the rest of the candidates struggle through the long first round. By the end of the 4 hours, the pressure from Gaojitsa and Su Ning has wrecked the field so badly that only 37 candidates pass instead of the 50 Pei Shuwen expected. Jin Yiqing barely reaches the line at the final moment with all 15 pills and exactly 8 superior grade ones, and the relief hits him hard. Su Ning congratulates him softly, and Jin Yiqing admits he truly failed to see how strong Su Ning was. Su Ning cuts off the praise and tells Jin Yiqing to steady himself, because the harder second assessment is about to start. For the second round, servants bring 30 kinds of herbs in equal amounts, and Su Ning immediately sees that they can be combined into more than 10 different pills. Pei Shuwen explains that this time they only need to refine one pill, can fail as many times as their materials allow, and will be judged by how difficult and how well refined their chosen pill is. When the 2-hour round begins, nobody moves at once, because choosing the right pill is now the real battle. While ordinary candidates weigh risk against success rate, Su Ning and Gaojitsa think in a different league and search for the hardest pill they can possibly make. Drawing on the Red Sea Demon Lord's alchemy records, Su Ning identifies the rare extreme strength pill, a difficult formula with demonic path traits that few people here would even recognize. Su Ning judges that he can keep the success rate around half and, with enough materials for 2 tries, decides this rare pill is worth the gamble. The moment Su Ning starts refining, Gaojitsa feels the pressure again and rushes to make his own choice. Gaojitsa settles on the Moonlight Pill, a Dao Realm pill he believes should win the round if he can refine it at superior grade before Su Ning outdoes him. Watching from the side, the core disciples assume both prodigies are probably aiming for the Moonlight Pill and treat this round like a direct duel. Then Gaojitsa's first attempt goes wrong, and a thread of white smoke from his furnace exposes a failed refinement. The disciples quickly note that he still has more chances, but Gaojitsa knows the real problem is that Su Ning has already shaken his state of mind. He forcibly calms himself and begins a second Moonlight Pill attempt, aware that if he keeps spiraling he might not even pass. Half an hour into the round, Su Ning's furnace trembles and a gray extreme strength pill jumps cleanly into his hand. In the test area, Su Ning calmly looks at the gray pill he just made and knows he pulled off a rare one-shot success, a superior grade extreme strength pill. The nearby core disciples expected a Moonlight Pill, so when they see Su Ning's strange gray pill, their surprise turns into real unease. Pei Shuwen quickly realizes the problem is bigger than one test result. Su Ning just made a pill none of them can even identify, which means his alchemy knowledge is beyond theirs. While everyone is shaken by Su Ning, Gaojitsa is still buried in his own refining, and has no idea the room has already changed around him. A burst from the furnace finally marks Gaojitsa's success, and he exhales in relief after refining a superior grade Moonlight Pill. That relief dies the moment Gaojitsa looks over and sees Su Ning's finished pill is not a Moonlight Pill at all, but something he has never seen before. For the first time, Gaojitsa feels his confidence crack, because the mysterious newcomer has stepped outside the limits of everything he thought top young alchemists should know. Before the assessment even ends, Pei Shuwen checks Gaojitsa's pill first and confirms he will almost certainly be chosen as an in-name disciple. Then Pei Shuwen moves to Su Ning, picks up the gray pill, and openly admits she has never seen anything like it. Su Ning explains that it is an extreme strength pill, a brutal Dao Realm medicine that lets the user stay at peak condition for 3 days and nights. When Su Ning adds that even an elementary Dao Realm master can use it, the listeners stare at him like he has gone too far. Su Ning does not argue with their disbelief and simply gives the price for that power. After the effect ends, the user dies from exhaustion. That answer is too serious for Pei Shuwen to judge on her own. so she takes the pill and heads straight into the deeper part of the bamboo forest to ask her master. Deep inside the forest, Pei Shuwen reaches a broad bamboo compound and enters the house where Ling Ran is waiting. Ling Ran, youthful in appearance but carrying an old and heavy presence, asks if the unnamed disciple selection is already finished. Pei Shuwen explains that a candidate refined an unknown pill, and Ling Ran's curiosity sharpens at once. But as soon as Ling Ran examines the gray pill, her relaxed expression hardens into something much more serious. When Pei Shuwen repeats Su Ning's description, Ling Ran confirms it really is an extreme strength pill and immediately orders Su Ning brought to her. The moment Pei Shuwen leaves, Ling Ran's fear shows through. The extreme strength pill was created by the Red Sea Demon Lord, so Su Ning might be tied to the dreaded Red Sea Demon sect. Back at the assessment grounds, Pei Shuwen returns in a hurry and tells Su Ning that Ling Ran wants to see him personally. Su Ning is surprised too, but he quickly realizes this strange pill has opened the private meeting he actually needed. When Su Ning enters the room, he immediately notices Ling Ran is watching him like a possible threat, not a promising student. Ling Ran sends Pei Shuwen away so she can question Su Ning alone. Su Ning greets her respectfully, but Ling Ran cuts straight through the politeness and demands to know what connection he has to the Red Sea Demon Lord. She explains her logic bluntly. Only someone tied to the Red Sea Demon sect should know how to make the first Dao round pill that Demon Lord ever created. Su Ning finally understands the source of her hostility and realizes just how intimidating the Red Sea Demon Lord's name is in State Wanqing. He tries to calm her by saying he is not from the Red Sea Demon sect and only learned the Red Sea Pill Sutra. That only makes things worse, because Ling Ran knows the Red Sea Pill Sutra is the Red Sea Demon Lord's core technique and should never be in an outsider's hands. Seeing words will not be enough, Su Ning pulls out the sect token Wan Yi gave him and presents it to Ling Ran. Ling Ran takes the token, checks it, and recognizes it as the real token of the Swallow Heron sect. Even then, her suspicion spikes again, because she knows this token should have been with Wan Yi and wants to know why it is in Su Ning's hands. Su Ning answers honestly that Wan Yi gave him the token in person and entrusted him with rebuilding the Swallow Heron sect. To prove it, Su Ning explains in detail how he met Wan Yi and repeats the hidden Swallow Heron sect secrets only a true insider should know. He ends by stating his real purpose here. Wan Yi said the Swallow Heron sect treasury is with Ling Ran, and he came to receive it for the sect's revival. Once all the details line up, Ling Ran finally believes him, and the hostility in her face begins to melt away. She quietly reflects that Wan Yi is still alive somewhere, and has chosen a successor all the way from the Abyss North. Now treating Su Ning as one of her own, Ling Ran asks the question still bothering her. How did someone from the Abyss North learn the Red Sea Demon Lord's core alchemy art? Su Ning tells the truth and says he passed an inheritance test the Red Sea Demon Lord left behind in a mystic realm in the Abyss North. Ling Ran accepts that explanation and even says the talent needed to pass such a test makes Wan Ye's choice of successor seem reasonable. She presses one step further and asks if the Red Sea Demon Lord told him to join the Red Sea Demon sect after reaching State Wanqing. Su Ning admits he did receive a keepsake that could get him into the Red Sea Demon sect at any time. Then he makes his choice clear. Wan Yi helped him enter the Dao realm, he accepted the sect token, and he has no intention of abandoning that promise for the demonic path. That answer finally satisfies Ling Ran, and in her eyes Su Ning stops being a risk and starts looking like the right successor. With the decision made, Ling Ran summons a round bead and tells Su Ning this hidden moon bead contains the entire stored foundation of the Swallow Heron sect. She explains that it is an independent spatial treasure where even living beings can enter and leave, and Su Ning instantly compares it to his own demon beast scroll. Ling Ran says Li Xingmao entrusted this bead to her, and asked her to wait 100 years for Wan Ye's chosen successor before giving it away. She had nearly accepted that Wan Yi might be dead overseas, so Su Ning's arrival feels like a burden finally lifted from her heart. Su Ning receives the hidden moon bead and bows his thanks as the Swallow Heron sect's hidden reserves finally pass into his hands. Ling Ran warns him that even rich reserves mean little without strength, because in State Wanqing a sect survives only if its leader grows fast enough to protect it. When Su Ning asks about the next step in rebuilding, Ling Ran points him toward the Qing family in Guanghe Canton and tells him to find Qing Xingtao. She explains that Qing Xingtao was once a court disciple and Li Xingmao's personal disciple, and that he stayed loyal to the Swallow Heron sect for a full century after its fall. Ling Ran says that if Su Ning had not arrived, she would have given the hidden moon bead to Qing Xingtao the next time he came asking about the sect. Now she tells Su Ning plainly that Qing Xingtao can help him rebuild the Swallow Heron sect once he finds him. Ready to leave, Su Ning says his farewells, but Ling Ran stops him long enough to write a personal letter for Qing Xingtao. She hands over the letter and tells Su Ning to show it together with the sect token so Qing Xingtao will understand everything immediately. Before letting him go, Ling Ran makes one more promise and says he can come back to her if serious trouble appears. Ling Ran calls Pei Shuwen back in and orders her to escort Su Ning out of the faint bamboo forest. Pei Shuwen misreads the situation and quietly assumes Ling Ran turned Su Ning away because his performance was not enough. After Su Ning leaves, Ling Ran sits alone and worries that anyone tied to the Red Sea Demon Lord may still bring dangerous changes in the future. At the edge of the bamboo forest, Pei Shuwen unexpectedly encourages Su Ning and tells him his alchemy talent is so strong that he will succeed even without Ling Ran as a master. Su Ning thanks her and walks away, keeping the truth to himself as he leaves with the hidden moon bead and Ling Ran's letter. Soon after, the assessment ends, 10 candidates are chosen as Ling Ran's in-name disciples, and even Jing Yiqing barely makes it through. When the new in-name disciples are brought before Ling Ran, she immediately recognizes Gao Chitsa among them. Gao Chitsa hesitates, then asks the rude question everyone else is thinking: why did Ling Ran refuse to take Su Ning as her disciple? Instead of getting angry, Ling Ran smiles and reveals the truth. She did not reject Su Ning because he lacked talent, but because she is not qualified to teach him at all. She says the alchemy master behind Su Ning stands far above her level, leaving the whole room silent as everyone understands just how extraordinary he really is. After leaving the faint bamboo forest, Su Ning decides not to rush straight to Guangha Canton and first look inside the hidden moon bead for resources. Ling Ran and Wan Yi both warned him that the rebuilt Swallow Heron sect will only stand firm if he grows stronger first, so Su Ning chooses power before travel. He brings Gray to a hidden cave and hands over the most important job for the moment: guard the bead while he goes inside. Su Ning knows the real danger here is outside the treasure, because once he enters the bead, the object itself can still be found and destroyed. Once Gray promises to keep watch, Su Ning finally relaxes and enters the hidden moon bead with his consciousness. Inside, the world turns into a dark silver space under a huge bright moon, and the name Hidden Moon Bead suddenly feels very literal. Then he spots the real prize nearby, the Swallow Heron sect's preserved treasury piled up like hills. A quick check through the martial arts panel tells him the stash is absurdly rich, worth around 8 million energy, with pills and spirit medicine alone making up more than 5 million. That number shocks him even more because this ruined old sect left behind far more than the Jade Knight sect ever did. Even with that much wealth in front of him, Su Ning refuses to burn through all of it, because he still intends to honor his promise to Wan Yi and save enough to rebuild the sect. Still, he also sees the practical truth: if he becomes stronger first, those resources can do much more for Swallow Heron later. He judges the treasury could eventually push him as high as the 4th stage of the Dao realm, but for now he only plans to break into Astral Chi and save the rest for later. His next bottleneck is already clear too. After Astral Chi, he will need 6 true origins, 3 water and 3 fire, to match the 6 attribute seeds he condensed. With the plan settled, Su Ning starts absorbing energy directly from the mountain of pills until he fills the last 550,000 energy he needs. As soon as the number is enough, he stops himself, because breaking through inside this dead quiet space would starve his body of spiritual energy and wreck the advancement. He exits the treasure at once and tells Gray the good news: he is ready to step into the Astral Chi realm. Gray reacts like this is just what Su Ning does now, and Su Ning immediately turns it into a lecture about Gray not slacking off on his own bloodline breakthrough. Then Su Ning opens the martial arts panel and spends the full 900,000 energy to force the breakthrough. The moment he confirms it, the spiritual energy outside the cave surges into him in a violent vortex, proving just how terrifying his foundation has become. Even Su Ning is startled, and he realizes that if he had tried this back in the weak spiritual energy of Abyss North, the breakthrough could have damaged him badly. Inside him, his Dao Realm power rapidly transforms until the final surge locks into place and he officially reaches Dao Realm's 2nd stage, the Astral Chi realm. When the panel refreshes, the plus sign is gone, confirming that raw energy will not carry him any further until he obtains 6 matching true origins. That does not worry him much, because in resource-rich state Wanxing, true origins are valuable but still something he can trade for. To test the new realm, Su Ning fires a gust of astral chi that slices a giant rock apart from hundreds of meters away. The result leaves him satisfied, because he can already feel how much deadlier that astral chi would become with a Dao weapon in hand. With his unusually deep reserves, he even starts thinking in bigger terms, like overwhelming enemies with a full Astral Chi rain attack. After weighing his new power together with the Cyan Wolf Blade and Wind Smoke Gourd, Su Ning concludes he can now beat an Origin Returnant's master. Gray cheers, and Su Ning turns back to the future again, saying State Wanxing's rich spiritual energy should help Gray, Cyan, and Su Hujuan reach the Dao realm too. With the breakthrough done, Su Ning finally resumes the original mission and heads with Gray for Guangha Canton to find Cheng Xingtao. After a hard road, they reach Lian County, the packed political heart of Guangha Canton, where major families and officials are concentrated. Su Ning asks around, tracks down the Qing family mansion, and requests a meeting with Cheng Xingtao by name. He only says that he comes from the faint bamboo forest, which is enough to make the guard treat him with sudden caution and respect. A middle-aged Dao realm master soon comes out in person, and Su Ning immediately senses that this has to be Cheng Xingtao. Cheng Xingtao recognizes the importance of anyone tied to the bamboo forest, but Su Ning's unfamiliar face and Gray's unusual bloodline make him instantly suspicious too. Su Ning answers that suspicion by flashing the Swallow Heron Sect token for just an instant, and that brief glimpse hits Cheng Xingtao like a shock. Cheng Xingtao immediately drops all hesitation, invites Su Ning inside, and locks the conversation down in his private study. Once they are alone, Cheng Xingtao asks the question he has been holding back: Is that really the Swallow Heron sect token that Wan Yi fled with? Su Ning answers by naming himself and saying Wan Yi personally handed him the token, which almost says the rest by itself. To remove the last doubt, Su Ning also gives him Ling Rant's letter, and Cheng Xingtao recognizes her mark before he even opens it. After reading the letter, Cheng Xingtao's uncertainty disappears completely, and he bows deeply to Su Ning as the new sect master. Su Ning quickly stops the ceremony and treats him like a trusted senior brother instead, making it clear this rebuild will need both authority and cooperation. That only makes Cheng Xingtao more emotional, because he has waited a full century for the Swallow Heron sect to have a real future again. Once both men trust each other, Cheng Xingtao asks the first practical question: what should the sect do now? Su Ning admits he is still new to State Wanqing but says the foundation has to be people, especially disciples, and Wan Yi warned him not to rebuild too loudly too soon. Cheng Xingtao immediately answers with the first breakthrough. He never lost touch with some loyal old disciples who still want the sect restored. That is exactly what Su Ning hoped to hear, and he orders Cheng Xingtao to start summoning those old members at once. The next problem is territory, and Cheng Xingtao warns that taking back the original sect site now would instantly expose them to the Wind Parasol Pavilion and the Green Edge sect. He finally speaks plainly about the Old Wound too. Those two sects crushed Swallow Heron, drove his master to die taking revenge, hunted Wan Yi, and nearly wiped out the core disciples. So instead of reclaiming old glory right away, he proposes a hidden start at an unused Qing family villa outside Luyan County. Su Ning agrees on the spot, and the rebuilding effort suddenly shifts from idea to workable plan. After settling those basics, Cheng Xingtao carefully circles toward the real thing he wants to know: just how strong and talented is this new sect master? He says it directly at last. If Su Ning cannot rise to core materialization realm, Swallow Heron will never be able to stand openly against its old enemies. Su Ning cuts through the hesitation and simply reveals his current realm first. He has already reached Dao Realm's second stage, the Astral Qi realm. Then he drops the part that really detonates the room, saying that only half a year ago he was still just at True Domain realm after condensing 6 attribute seeds. For a veteran genius like Cheng Xingtao, that speed is almost impossible to accept, and he can barely ask if Su Ning is serious. Su Ning gives a clean yes, and that answer turns Cheng Xingtao's shock into real hope for the first time in 100 years. Cheng Xingtao immediately voices that hope out loud, urging Su Ning to reach core materialization as fast as possible and bring Swallow Heron back into the light. Su Ning accepts that burden without dodging it and promises he will not disappoint him. With the alliance set, Cheng Xingtao offers Su Ning a place to stay in the mansion until the old disciples gather and they can move out to the villa. Su Ning accepts, and with that simple decision, the rebuilding of the Swallow Heron sect finally begins for real. After settling Su Ning into the Qing family mansion, Cheng Xingtao steps out feeling unusually reassured about the sect's future. That calm is interrupted when Qing Jingxian, the Qing family head, stops him and immediately asks about the guest from Faint Bamboo Forest. Once Cheng Xingtao admits the visitor is tied to Swallow Heron sect, Qing Jingxian bluntly says that dead sect should stay buried. Qing Jingxian reminds him that even Li Xingmao failed against Wind Parasol Pavilion and Green Edge sect, so trying to rebuild now is almost asking for disaster. He pushes harder, saying Cheng Xingtao is not just acting for himself but for the whole Qing family, and orders him to send the guest away after a few days. Cheng Xingtao finally counters with the one point his uncle cannot dodge. Li Xingmao once helped Qing Jingxian too. Qing Jingxian admits that debt and says he protected the surviving core disciples as best he could, but rebuilding the sect still looks hopeless under Princess Mo Lan's shadow. Cheng Xingtao agrees that none of the old disciples can carry the sect back alone, then drops the real reveal. Wan Yi chose a new successor from Abyss North. When he hears Wan Yi is still alive and has already named a new sect master, Qing Jingxian cannot hide his shock and curiosity. Cheng Xingtao tells him Su Ning is that chosen sect master and that preparations to rebuild have already started. Still worried about dragging the Qing family into danger, Cheng Xingtao says he is willing to be publicly cast out if that is the price of following Li Xingmao's will. That resolve finally moves Qing Jingxian, and he agrees to bring Su Ning to the Canton governor's banquet in 3 days so he can judge the young sect master himself. After his uncle leaves, Cheng Xingtao realizes that if Su Ning impresses him, the Qing family might become real help instead of a hidden obstacle. Meanwhile in his room, Su Ning has no idea that test was arranged and is already thinking of Cheng Xingtao as the man who could run the sect for him someday. Su Ning even decides that once Swallow Heron sect gathers disciples again, Cheng Xingtao should become deputy sect master while he focuses on strength. That planning stops when Gray starts pacing restlessly, and Su Ning notices the silver mark on its forehead flashing in a dangerous way. Su Ning quickly realizes Gray is about to break into the Dao realm, the kind of bloodline surge that can make demon beasts lose control. Gray confirms its bloodline feels violently unstable, and Su Ning decides the safest place to break through is inside the demon beast scroll. They teleport into the demon beast scroll, a damaged but still powerful secret realm safer than the outside world for a demon beast breakthrough. Su Hujuan rushes over at once, and Cyan follows right behind, more interested in complaining about the gloomy scroll than the emergency. When Su Ning says Gray is about to enter the Dao realm, Cyan instantly turns jealous and begs to be let outside later so it can absorb state-watching spiritual energy too. Su Hujuan loses patience with the noise and slams Cyan into the dirt for disturbing Gray's breakthrough. Su Ning feeds Gray several prepared pills to keep its bloodline stable and its mind clear during the breakthrough. Once Gray steadies a little, Su Ning pulls the others back and gives it space to advance alone. A fierce roar suddenly tears through the scroll, and the ground starts trembling under Gray's power. Dead trees and stones twist and shatter around Gray, and Su Ning senses it clearly at last. Gray has entered the elementary Dao realm. Su Ning rushes over expecting the same little beast, only to freeze when he sees Gray has grown from a kitten into a lion-sized silver predator. Gray lands from the air and speaks out loud in a deep voice, showing just how much this breakthrough changed it. Su Ning realizes Gray can already fly at the Dao realm because its void beast bloodline controls space differently from human martial artists. Su Hujuan is openly thrilled to see Gray grow this far, while Cyan circles in jealous disbelief. Gray proudly tells Su Ning that now it can do more for him, even carry him as a mount instead of riding on his shoulder. Su Ning promises that once he gets stronger, he will find a way to repair the damaged demon beast scroll so Gray can use it as a real trump card. Cyan immediately cuts back in to ask about leaving the scroll, and this time Su Ning gives a date, just a few more days until the temporary sect camp is ready. But Gray still has to stay hidden, because its obvious void beast traits would make it a target for powerful people who like to enslave rare demon beasts. After Gray sends him back out, Su Ning returns to the guest room and decides to use this quiet gap to improve his alchemy instead. He enters the hidden moon bead, spends 300,000 energy, and pushes the Red Sea Pill Sutra up to the second level. With his alchemy improved, Su Ning starts refining pills in the room and keeps at it for the next 2 days. 2 days later, Cheng Xingtao comes to invite Su Ning to the Canton Governor's banquet and frames it as a chance to make useful connections in State Wanqing. Su Ning finds the idea a little hollow, but he still agrees because meeting local elites could help the rebuilt sect later. Cheng Xingtao carefully leaves out that this invitation actually came from Qing Jingxian, worried Su Ning would react badly if he knew it was a test. At noon the next day, Cheng Xingtao brings Su Ning out to the family carriages, where demon beast bloodline horses wait in formal harness. Before they board, Cheng Xingtao quietly warns Su Ning that his uncle Qing Jingxian is already inside that front carriage. Inside, Qing Jingxian says little at first and studies Su Ning with open skepticism, making the air feel heavier than the carriage walls. Su Ning greets him politely and even asks to be called by name, treating Wan Ye's old friend as a senior instead of pushing back. That humility softens Qing Jingxian, because he had expected a gifted young sect master from Abyss North to be much more difficult. When Qing Jingxian asks about Wan Yi, Su Ning answers honestly that the old man survived but is badly weakened and still suffering from old injuries. Qing Jingxian then tests the heart of the matter directly and asks whether Su Ning truly understands what rebuilding Swallow Heron sect will cost. Su Ning answers with an easy smile that he accepted the sect token only after preparing himself for threats from both major sects. That answer leaves Qing Jingxian thoughtful and silent, while Cheng Xingtao realizes his uncle may be warming to Su Ning after all. Soon the carriage reaches the Canton Governor Manor, and Qing Jingxian steps down first with his authority fully on display. Then he tells Su Ning and Qing Xingtao to follow behind him, a small gesture that quietly places Su Ning under the Qing family's visible protection. Inside the governor's manor, Su Ning immediately feels the difference in State Wanqing as elite guests with terrifying auras greet one another in the halls. Su Ning even notices several fourth-stage Dao Realm masters among the guests, confirming that this banquet gathers serious power. Before the Qing family can enter the hall, a refined man steps forward to greet Qing Jingxian as Master Wei, ending the scene on the threshold of a bigger meeting. 3 days after reaching Guanghe Canton, Su Ning attends the governor's banquet with the Qing family, and quickly reads the room as a gathering for every major local force. Governor Wei Xiongjian treats the powerful families with careful politeness, and that alone tells Su Ning how this canton balances official power and clan influence. Once inside, Qing Jingxian goes to speak with other leaders, and Cheng Xingtao starts guiding Su Ning through the banquet's social circles. When everyone arrives, Wei Xiongjian raises the first toast, and the whole hall falls neatly into order. Su Ning drinks with everyone else and immediately realizes the banquet wine itself is a valuable cultivation resource. After the formal toast, the hall loosens again, and Wei Xiongjian speaks with the family heads while guests begin networking by rank and familiarity. A plump but sharp-eyed man from the Shi family, Shi Qinghao, comes over to toast Qing Xingtao and notices the unfamiliar Su Ning beside him. Su Ning introduces himself first with easy confidence, and Shi Qinghao instantly treats him as someone worth befriending. After learning Su Ning is new to Guanghe Canton, Shi Qinghao smoothly invites him to a private banquet later and starts pulling him into his own circle. Then Shi Qinghao lowers his voice and finally reveals what he really wants: help getting a realm breakthrough pill. He admits his martial talent is poor, says family resources only forced him into body smelting, and now he cannot touch the astral chi threshold on his own. Because ordinary master alchemists all refuse the job, Shi Qinghao asks Cheng Xingtao to speak to Ling Ran for him. Cheng Xingtao clearly does not want to trouble Ling Ran, and the request stalls before he can even answer. Before the moment dies, Suning calmly asks the only thing that matters now, whether Shi Qinghao already has the pill materials. When Shi Qinghao says yes, Suning tells him to leave it to him and come collect the realm breakthrough pill from the Qing family in 3 days. Shi Qinghao blurts out the obvious question, and Qing Xingtao is just as shocked when Suning confirms that he is a master alchemist. That answer flips Shi Qinghao from cautious networking to real excitement, because the breakthrough he had nearly given up on suddenly feels possible again. Qing Xingtao is even more shaken, because Suning was already a rare martial talent, and now turns out to be walking both paths at once. Shi Qinghao immediately places 5 full sets of pill materials on the table, and Suning accepts them without hesitation. When Shi Qinghao asks what the fee will be, Suning waves it off out of respect for Qing Xingtao's friendship. Shi Qinghao does not argue, but he solemnly says the favor will stand, and that promise matters more than a simple fee. Afterward, Qing Xingtao quietly explains that Shi Qinghao is the Shi family head's son and could become a useful resource channel for the future sect. Shi Qinghao soon returns with more acquaintances, and before the banquet ends, Suning has already won over much of Guanghe Canton's Daorealm crowd. Watching that happen, Qing Jingxian starts to believe Suning really might be able to restore the Swallow Heron sect. On the ride back, Qing Jingxian makes his support official and tells Suning to ask if the sect's rebuilding ever runs into trouble. He goes even further by promising talented Qing descendants to the sect, tying the Qing family directly to Suning's new foundation. Suning thanks him at once, because with the Qing family behind him, rebuilding the Swallow Heron sect suddenly feels much less fragile. 3 days later, Suning finishes refining the realm breakthrough pill and reflects that it can force a breakthrough, but it also leaves the user's foundation unstable. Even so, he knows Shi Qinghao's natural talent is so poor that without this pill he might never reach astral chi at all. That afternoon, Qing Xingtao brings Shi Qinghao over, and Suning hands the finished pill over without making him wait. Shi Qinghao opens the bottle on the spot, catches the pill fragrance, and his relief turns into open gratitude. Then Shi Qinghao produces 2 exquisitely sealed boxes and says he heard Suning is missing water and fire attribute true origins for his next breakthrough. He explains that his family's trading company recently obtained exactly those 2 true origins and offers them to Suning as thanks and goodwill. Suning is genuinely surprised, because the gift is worth even more than the pill refining labor, and flips the debt between them. Shi Qinghao brushes that concern aside, pushes the boxes into Suning's hands, and makes it clear he is investing in this relationship on purpose. Since Suning truly needs these true origins, he accepts and remembers the favor. Shi Qinghao immediately invites him to another banquet, and this time Suning agrees rather than make his new ally lose face. Over that meal, the food and alcohol are so valuable that Suning quietly gains a huge burst of energy just by eating with them. After the meal, Qing Xingtao reports that the new sect villa is ready and that Qing Jingxian has already chosen 10 family descendants to send over. He also says he contacted 3 of the old Swallow Heron disciples he trusts most, and they agreed to come help rebuild the sect too. Back in his room, Suning sets the gift boxes in front of him and prepares to absorb the 2 attribute true origins at once. The first box will not open until he uses Daorealm power on its seal, which tells him how carefully these treasures were stored. Inside is a lava flame crystal, a fiery red carrier of natural fire true origin power dense enough to tempt his energy system with nearly 30,000 units. Suning refuses the raw energy and takes the far more valuable path, guiding the crystal's fire true origin directly into his body. Even as a Daorealm master he feels the burn, and when the last trace is absorbed the crystal crumbles to dust in his hand. That fire true origin condenses into a scarlet sphere inside him, the rough beginning of the inner core he will need later. He opens the second box and finds a moon water lotus, a palm-sized blue lotus that looks as if it were carved from living water. Again he ignores the huge energy attached to it, and absorbs the water true origin instead, this time feeling cool relief spread through his body. When the lotus dissolves away, the energy sphere inside Suning turns half red and half blue, and his strength rises another step. Suning now understands his path clearly. Once he absorbs 4 more matching true origins, he can break through into the origin returnant's realm. A few more days later, with the Qing family's help, the rebuilt Swallow Heron sect moves into a large villa on the outskirts of the city. The place is far more open than the city and finally gives the tiny new sect room to act freely, even if life outside the walls carries more danger. Qing Xingtao can barely hide his excitement, because this is the first real base of the sect's rebirth. He tells Suning the 10 selected Qing descendants are already waiting, and Suning decides to meet the first batch of the new Swallow Heron disciples right away. On the way, Qing Xingtao explains these children mostly come from concubine lines with low status but good talent, chosen specifically to avoid trouble from the family's true core heirs. Then Suning enters the courtyard and sees 10 young men and women waiting for him, the very first faces of the rebuilt sect. Suning and Qing Xingtao arrive to meet the Swallow Heron sect's first 10 young disciples, and the group nervously greets Qing Xingtao as a clan elder. Qing Xingtao immediately corrects them, warning that inside the sect there are no clan titles and they must call him martial uncle or face punishment. He formally presents Suning as sect master and makes it clear that disobeying Suning means crossing him too. Suning studies the 10 youths one by one and pauses on a dark-skinned, tall, skinny boy whose sharp eyes remind him of Guiyi. He judges the group as decent but not exceptional, all under 16 and at least 7th stage mortal realm, which is enough for a sect starting from nothing. Instead of putting distance between them, Suning tells the 10 that they will build the revived Swallow Heron sect together, and one day make its name known across state Wanqing. Those words hit hard because these Qing family offshoot children have always craved status, and now the sect's rise could finally lift them too. Cheng Xingtao is shaken as well, because Su Ning's promise echoes the old dream of former sect master Li Xingmao, a dream that once failed. Su Ning follows that promise with real benefits, announcing that the 10 will receive cultivation resources on the same level as Qing family core members. He adds a simple rule for the new sect: strength earns rewards, and every breakthrough will be recognized. Then he raises the stakes again by naming all 10 as core disciples and promising that he and the senior members will guide their cultivation personally. The courtyard goes dead quiet when Su Ning announces he will personally accept one disciple and take charge of that person's future training. Without dragging it out, Su Ning points straight at the dark-skinned boy he noticed earlier and asks for his name. The stunned boy introduces himself as Qing Xiu, and Su Ning immediately accepts him as his first personal disciple. Qing Xiu can barely hide his joy, while the rest of the first-generation disciples can only watch with envy. Su Ning also tells Qing Xingtao to pick 2 more personal core disciples, spreading responsibility instead of hoarding it all himself. Qing Xingtao chooses 1 male and 1 female disciple, giving the new sect a clearer inner structure from the start. After dismissing the group, Su Ning tells Qing Xiu to meet him again in the backyard that afternoon. Once they are alone, Su Ning turns from disciples to management and says the rebuilt sect still needs proper elder positions filled. He decides that when the other 3 former sect members arrive, they will all become elders of Swallow Heron sect. When Qing Xingtao asks about his own position, Su Ning matter-of-factly names him temporary deputy sect master. Qing Xingtao tries to refuse the promotion, but Su Ning cuts that off on the spot and settles the matter himself. Su Ning then asks about Qing Xiu, showing that he did not choose the boy on impulse alone. Qing Xingtao explains that Qing Xiu comes from a branch family, has only average talent among the 10, but stands out for rare grit, passion, and reliability. Satisfied with that answer, Su Ning hears that all 10 disciples' backgrounds have already been checked and their records are waiting in his study. Su Ning hands Qing Xingtao a storage ring filled with sect resources, trusting him to fund whatever the new sect needs. He explains that Ling Ran already turned over the remaining sect assets, and if this share is not enough, Qing Xingtao can come straight back to him. Su Ning also slows Qing Xingtao's next impulse, deciding that the sect is still too new to rush into opening trade channels for martial resources. At the Harmony Prince mansion, a cold young man corners Su Ning in a pavilion and immediately acts like Su Ning has broken some rule by sitting there. Su Ning stays polite on the surface, but he quietly judges that this stranger is stronger than him and is clearly picking a fight on purpose. Zhuo Weisong keeps posturing like a senior, claiming the pavilion belongs to His Highness, and using that excuse to put Su Ning in his place. Su Ning gives a measured apology, but his gaze stays hard enough to show he is not intimidated. Before Zhuo Weisong can press further, Zhang He arrives and cuts in with obvious displeasure. Zhuo Weisong pretends he was only teaching rules, but Zhang He shuts that down and makes it clear Su Ning is under his care now. Zhuo Weisong leaves with a final provocative look at Su Ning, and Zhang He can only snort at his arrogance. Once the trouble passes, Zhang He turns warm again and apologizes for making Su Ning wait. Zhang He casually asks about Su Ning's demon beasts, and Su Ning says he brought them hidden in spatial treasures. Su Ning asks directly why Zhuo Weisong was hostile, and Zhang He reveals that the man already knew Su Ning's name before meeting him. Zhang He explains that Zhuo Weisong is a trusted aide's son, spoiled by his father's status, and used to acting above everyone else around the prince. The real reason is jealousy. Duan Chaofeng has been praising Su Ning around the mansion so much that the other aides already see him as someone special. Su Ning realizes he has already become a key figure in Duan Chaofeng's circle without even noticing it. Zhang He brings Su Ning to Duan Chaofeng's study, and the prince greets him with open enthusiasm. After a short talk, Duan Chaofeng has Zhang He personally arrange luxurious lodging for Su Ning inside the prince's villa. Over the next few days, Su Ning stays in that side room refining pills and quietly preparing for the sea voyage. While making demon beast bait pills, Su Ning suddenly connects the dots and suspects Shi Qinghao's mysterious client is probably a master tamer tied to this same expedition. A servant soon summons Su Ning to a banquet 4 hours later, and Su Ning reads it as the final signal that departure is very close. The story shifts to State Luji, where Princess Mo Lan gathers her people and announces that their preparations to capture the night beast are complete. Mo Lan says they will sail in 3 days and promises rich rewards after she personally delivers the captured night beast to the Empress. She also warns that their plan has likely leaked after she recently rooted out spies in her own mansion. Even so, Mo Lan stays confident because she has prepared well and recruited a strong group of master tamers to make the hunt smoother. She publicly thanks the Wind Parasol Pavilion and Green Edge sect for supplying the crews, forcing their 2 sect masters to jump up and humble themselves. Everyone in the room understands why they are so obedient. These former state Kuching forces want Mo Lan's permission to move into State Luji. After the meeting ends, an elderly female master steps out from behind a screen and quietly warns Lan not to rely too heavily on those outside forces. Lan says she knows the risk, but this dangerous voyage is also her test for them, because true loyal swords are hard to find when most of State Luji follows her brother instead. A few days later, Duan Chaofeng's fleet finally sails into the endless sea toward the archipelago where the night beast appears. Even under gathering thunderclouds, the flagship stays dry because a transparent barrier shields the deck from rain and waves. At the bow, Duan Chaofeng casually asks about Su Ning's origins, and Su Ning says he came from beyond State Wanxing. Zhuo Wei Song instantly reacts with quiet disdain, treating people from outside State Wanxing like country bumpkins. Duan Chaofeng keeps the conversation warm and asks about Su Ning's sea crossing, drawing more envy from the people around him. That calm moment breaks when a huge wave slams the barrier, and Duan Chaofeng realizes something powerful is moving under the ship. Zhang He senses a mid-level Dao Realm sea demon beast below them just before its giant tail erupts from the water. The beast's strike throws the fleet into chaos, so Duan Chaofeng immediately orders Zhang He to handle it before the smaller ships capsize. Zhang He does not hesitate and leaps straight into the sea to fight the demon beast in its own territory. For a long half-hour, the fleet can only slow down and listen as violent explosions and surging white water mark the underwater battle. When the sea finally calms, Zhang He bursts back onto the deck and calmly reports that the problem is solved. Duan Chaofeng happily asks how close Zhang He is to breaking into the 7th stage, and Zhang He gives an answer that sounds impressively near for someone at their level. Everyone joins in congratulating Zhang He except Zhuo Wei Song, whose cold face makes his resentment impossible to miss. Duan Chaofeng notices that reaction but says nothing, because he only keeps Zhuo Wei Song around out of respect for Zhuo Xingyun's old connection to him. With the demon beast gone, the fleet reforms and sails on toward the clear sky region ahead. 2 months pass at sea before everyone gathers on deck again, this time with the quiet senior expert Dong Ji finally joining them. Duan Chaofeng respectfully tells Dong Ji they have reached the night beast's area, revealing just how much weight this plain-looking senior carries. Dong Ji warns that the night beast is notoriously hard to detect, so the search teams must sweep each island and signal immediately at the first trace. Su Ning looks out and sees the real challenge at last, an entire archipelago where the night beast could appear on any island. Duan Chaofeng decides not to split their strength too far, choosing instead to land together and search the islands one by one since Land's people may already be nearby. The fleet lands, and after months at sea Su Ning finally steps onto solid ground again. Looking up, Su Ning notices this island still lies under clear skies, with only part of the archipelago swallowed by dark cloud cover. Duan Chaofeng orders the camp set up and puts the master tamers under the heaviest protection, making clear they are central to the whole hunt. Half a day later on another island, Princess Land's fleet lands too, confirming that the rival hunt is now fully underway. Lan quickly deduces that the Harmony King Mansion fleet that sailed around the same time must belong to Duan Chaofeng and must be after the same night beast. Because she is wary of him, Lan orders shore sentinels posted at once to warn her if Duan Chaofeng's group comes near. Far from the islands, a third force approaches on the back of a great fish, every rider hidden under grey robes. A gust blows one hood back and reveals Lying, the very master tamer who once hired Su Ning to refine medicine. The hooded leader turns to Lying and calmly puts the night beast search in his hands, confirming this hidden group came for the same prize. Lying promises to do everything he can, and the hooded master answers with gratitude and the promise of a generous reward whether or not they succeed. On the island, the Harmony King Mansion sets up a full search base from a construction-type spatial treasure, turning the expedition into a moving fortified camp. Master tamers spread out with guarded teams and leave sensors behind wherever they search, so the night beast can be detected if it slips through later. Su Ning leaves the camp and decides to bring out Gray and Cyan so their demon beast instincts can read the island better than humans can. Gray and Cyan appear from the demon beast scroll and immediately realize they have entered the night beast's territory. When Su Ning asks what feels special here, either beast can point to anything obvious beyond richer spiritual energy. Su Ning is not convinced that extra spiritual energy is the whole answer, so he leads them toward the eastern mountains to search for resources and any trace the night beast left behind. The deeper they go, the stranger the island feels to Su Ning. It is enormous, packed with spiritual energy, and rich with treasure, yet eerily short on living creatures. Su Ning starts gathering the valuable herbs into the hidden moon pearl while Gray and Cyan suddenly lock onto the same emerald fruit. Su Ning recognizes the fruit at once as a jade scar blood-tempering fruit, a demon beast treasure that can cleanse and improve bloodline purity. The moment Su Ning explains what it does, Cyan tries to snatch it first, and Gray shuts that down with a blunt slap before the fight can start. Su Ning stops them again when he realizes the fruit is still unripe, warning that eating it now would waste most of its effect. He decides to transplant it into the demon beast scroll and speed up its growth with spiritual fertilizer, promising that a ripened fruit will be 3 times stronger. Just as he starts, Su Ning catches a flaw in the scene. A fruit this tempting should have drawn beasts already, which means something nearby has been guarding it. The mountain answers him a second later when the soil bursts open and a giant claw rips out from underground. Su Ning dodges, grabs the whole jade scar blood-tempering fruit in one motion, and a furious hidden beast finally reveals itself. The ambusher is a rock-rolling lizard, a 30-meter mid-level Dao realm demon beast that had hidden its aura so well even Su Ning missed it until he touched the fruit. Cyan's first instinct is to run back into the scroll, but Gray gets excited instead and asks Su Ning to help capture the lizard alive as new muscle for the demon beast scroll. Su Ning immediately backs Gray's plan and orders Cyan to help instead of hiding. Even while scared, Cyan acts fast and expands into a dense blood fog that smothers the lizard's position. Su Ning layers the wind smoke gourd over Cyan's fog, trapping the rock-rolling lizard inside a second choking field he can control. Gray disturbs the nearby space and slips through the fog with Cyan for stealth attacks, while Su Ning takes the front and starts carving into the trapped beast with the Cyan wolf knife. Then Su Ning adds poisonous miasma to the gray fog, leaving the rock-rolling lizard blind, corroded, and too disoriented to fight back properly. The lizard tries to smash its way out and charge free, but Su Ning calmly keeps the fog wrapped around it and wears it down on purpose instead of killing it. Once the beast finally weakens, Su Ning lands on its head and hammers it unconscious with an astral chi-coded punch. Su Ning immediately calls Gray over, and Gray seizes the chance to drag the unconscious rock-rolling lizard into the demon beast scroll before it wakes up. With the fight over, Gray thanks Su Ning, and Su Ning decides this resource-rich archipelago could let them catch even more Dao realm beasts for the scroll later. Su Ning warns Gray that capturing is only the easy part now, because the damaged demon beast scroll still needs careful marking before a new beast can be controlled. Gray accepts the extra work without complaint, because this is finally the chance it wanted to build real Dao realm fighting power inside the scroll. Su Ning also notes that the island beasts seem untouched by human training or battle experience, which made the rock-rolling lizard easier to subdue than its realm suggested. Cyan immediately tries to claim credit for the victory and demands the whole fruit as payment, but Gray answers with a dry thank you and nothing more. Su Ning keeps the team moving, because beyond the night beast hunt he badly needs more resources to feed the brutal energy cost of his next breakthrough. 3 months pass as the Harmony King Mansion search fleet clears 3 islands and leaves forces behind on each one to watch the sensor traps. During the same stretch, Duan Chaofeng's side and Mo Lan's side become aware of each other, and both know a direct clash is only a matter of time. Su Ning spends those 3 months sweeping the islands with Gray and Cyan, hunting traces of the night beast while steadily catching more demon beasts for the scroll. By the end of it, Gray has added 1 more mid-level Dao realm beast and 3 elementary Dao realm beasts, carefully marking each one before taking the next to avoid chaos inside the scroll. Gray and Cyan also profit from the island's special medicines, and the bloodline resources push both of them noticeably closer to the mid-level Dao realm. Su Ning's own gains are huge too, with nearly 1.7 million energy gathered from the archipelago, and his reserves climbing close to 2 million. On the final month-end turn, both Duan Chaofeng and Mo Lan finally land on the same island at once, the largest central island and the last place left unexplored. Neither side wants to start early, so they set up separate camps and avoid each other while knowing the real contest is about to begin. Inside the Harmony King Mansion spatial camp, Duan Chaofeng gathers his core men and declares that the night beast is most likely hiding on this last island. He warns them that this search is dangerous in 2 directions now, the island itself and Mo Lan's people, who may ambush them over the night beast. His order is to avoid a fight if possible, strike back if they must, and report even the slightest night beast clue for a heavy reward. Once the meeting breaks, the search teams spread across the island again, and Su Ning heads out with Gray and Cyan as usual. Almost immediately, Gray and Cyan both feel that this island is different, not threatening but strangely comfortable in a way they cannot explain. Su Ning takes that instinct seriously, and concludes the night beast should feel the same pull, which makes this island their strongest lead yet. He tells both beasts to stay extra careful, because a real lead also means they are closer than ever to danger. Elsewhere on the island, Zhuo Weisong searches with a 7-man team, but under his tense face he is stewing over how much Duan Chaofeng now favors Su Ning. In his mind, Su Ning is an outsider who stole his place, and Zhuo Weisong even bitterly wishes the island would get Su Ning killed for him. Even so, Zhuo Weisong knows he cannot easily touch Su Ning himself, so he turns that frustration into a new goal: find the night beast first and crush Su Ning with merit. That hope suddenly flares when one Master Tamer's transparent bottle turns faint black, signaling that an extremely high-tier bloodline beast passed nearby not long ago. When Zhuo Weisong asks if it could be the night beast, the Master Tamer says probably, and the darkening liquid sends the whole team into excited silence. Zhuo Weisong instantly orders a careful search of the area and reminds everyone that even an immature night beast would still be a terrifying mid-level Dao realm apex beast. While searching the island for any trace of the night beast, Zhuo Weisong suddenly feels something wrong when a shadow seems to flash across his vision. The daylight around Zhuo Weisong turns strangely dim, and even with Dao realm eyesight he can no longer see clearly. When Zhuo Weisong turns to call the others, every teammate nearby is simply gone. Realizing he is in danger, Zhuo Weisong tries to get back to camp and cling to the safety of Dong Ji's protection. But the darkness swallows even sound, and Zhuo Weisong sinks helplessly into a silent black space. Elsewhere on the island, Su Ning, Cyan, and Gray are having the opposite experience and happily harvesting far richer spirit medicine than on the earlier islands. After gaining another 100,000 units of energy, Su Ning quietly judges that this trip has already become a big profit for him. Cyan gushes that the island is excellent, while stuffing another spirit fruit into its mouth with juice running everywhere. Gray suggests catching another Dao Realm demon beast for itself, since Su Ning is the only one who can help it subdue something stronger. Su Ning agrees and spreads his perception to search for nearby Dao Realm demon beasts. A thunderous roar suddenly shakes the ground, forcing the three of them up a mountain to see what just appeared. From the ridge, they spot a monstrous adult armored thornback beast more than 100 meters tall chasing a panicked group riding flying demon beasts. Su Ning immediately realizes the fleeing group should be from Mo Lan's camp and that they must have triggered a high-level Dao Realm beast while searching for the night beast. One slap from the armored thornback beast turns a rider into bloody mist, and the sheer power of the scene rattles Su Ning. Knowing they would die if that beast noticed them, Su Ning orders Gray and Cyan to retreat at once. Before they can run, a woman's voice crashes across the island like thunder and a streak of light cuts into the battlefield. The streak slams into the armored thornback beast and reveals an elderly swordswoman standing in the air without giving an inch. Su Ning instantly understands that only a 7th stage or higher Dao Realm expert can fly like that, making her the top guard from Mo Lan's side. Shui Jinghua tells the survivors to get out, and the rider sees the chance to flee the area. Facing the beast alone, Shui Jinghua coldly declares that since it killed her side's people, it will pay for that blood. Her first sword arc slices straight through the beast's scales, proving that even this defense-heavy monster cannot withstand her edge. The armored thornback beast lashes out with claws, tail, and even acidic spit, but Shui Jinghua keeps dodging and carving it up. Once the wounded beast finally turns to flee, Su Ning is left staring at the kind of strength that could kill him instantly. Shui Jinghua does not chase because even a win here would leave her too badly injured to protect Mo Lan afterward. Just as she prepares to leave, Shui Jinghua senses Su Ning's hidden presence and turns her gaze toward his direction. Realizing he has been noticed by a high-level Dao Realm master, Su Ning panics and orders Cyan and Gray into the demon beast scroll before he runs for Dongji's camp. He barely gets moving before Shui Jinghua appears in front of him and cuts off his escape. Su Ning grabs his emergency crystal to call for help, but Shui Jinghua flicks a burst of aura through his palm and shatters it before he can activate it. Unable to fight back, Su Ning forces himself calm and asks what offense he has given the senior. After confirming he serves the Harmony Prince, Shui Jinghua inspects him more closely and immediately sees how young and talented he really is. Tempted by his potential, Shui Jinghua bluntly decides to take Su Ning away and have him seek refuge under Princess Mo Lan instead. Su Ning cannot dodge her at all, and for a moment it looks like he is really about to be abducted. Then Dongji's voice crashes in from afar, openly accusing Shui Jinghua of stealing someone from the Harmony King mansion. The moment Dongji arrives, Su Ning finally relaxes because the only person here who can match Shui Jinghua is now standing in front of him. Shui Jinghua knows she cannot take Su Ning in front of Dongji without openly slapping the Harmony King mansion in the face, so she lets him go. After tossing out a frosty warning to watch his people better, Shui Jinghua leaves on her sword. Safe for the moment, Su Ning thanks Dongji and explains how he got caught after witnessing Shui Jinghua fight the armored thornback beast. When Su Ning asks how Dongji found him without the crystal, Dongji reveals that Duan Chaofeng had already sent him out to look. Dongji explains that in the last 2 days several search teams have gone missing on the island, and Zhuowei Song is among them. The problem was discovered when Zhang He retraced his route to exchange information with another team and found they had vanished without a trace. Since even Mo Lan's people have also disappeared, Dongji believes there is a hidden danger on this island that neither camp understands yet. Not wanting to stay away from Duan Chaofeng any longer, Dongji grabs Su Ning and flies him straight back to camp. At the Harmony Prince's camp, Duan Chaofeng is relieved to see Su Ning return, then immediately notices he came back wounded. After hearing that Mo Lan's side tried to seize Su Ning, Duan Chaofeng is displeased but knows now is not the time to pick that fight. Zhang He returns and reports that everyone else has been called back except for a few still searching for clues about the missing teams. The numbers are ugly. 37 people from the mansion and 10 master tamers have already disappeared on this island. For Duan Chaofeng, Zhuowei Song's disappearance is especially troublesome because it will be hard to answer to Zhuo Xingyun if the man is never found. Dongji lays out the logic. Either an overwhelming expert erased those teams instantly, or a creature with strange methods swallowed them on the spot without leaving evidence. He points to the second possibility and says the Night Beast's rumored power to weave endless night matches these disappearances almost too well. That possibility shakes Duan Chaofeng, because if the Night Beast really is here, then the target of the whole trip may have already shown itself. Zhang He still worries about the prince's safety, but Dongji answers with confidence that a mid-level Dao Realm Night Beast should not be able to threaten him directly. For now, Duan Chaofeng decides the camp will hold its ground and wait for more clues before making the next move. Just as the discussion is ending, a guard rushes in with urgent news that belongings from one of the missing people have finally been found. The whole room stiffens at that sudden lead, and even Su Ning is thrown by how fast a clue appeared after everyone had been saying there were no traces at all. The search starts with suspicion, because the missing people left no trail at all, yet their belongings suddenly turn up the moment everyone looks for them. When Duan Chaofeng asks for a judgment, Dong Ji keeps it simple and says they still have to inspect the place with their own eyes. Zhang He volunteers to go first, insisting that aside from Dong Ji he is the strongest and should take the risk instead of the prince. Duan Chaofeng refuses, warning that Zhang He is not strong enough to survive a hidden night beast if it is waiting near the bait. Instead, Duan Chaofeng decides to go in person with Dong Ji beside him, trusting the senior expert to pull him out if anything goes wrong. Once Prince and Protector both commit, the rest of the group has no choice but to follow them into the danger zone. The guards lead them to a strange dead-looking patch of weeds, a bleak scar on an island where even the plants are usually full of life. There, the guards point out dropped weapons and pill bottles, and the scene looks less like an accident and more like someone arranged a lure. Su Ning agrees with Zhang He, and Dong Ji immediately warns everyone that these planted items are probably bait meant to drag them here. Before they can search further, another elite group arrives, and Su Ning spots Shui Jinghua leading Princess Mo Lan's side. Duan Chaofeng quickly realizes Mo Lan came to the same conclusion they did, that the disappearances point straight to the night beast. Mo Lan walks over first and greets Duan Chaofeng with a polite smile that still carries a sharp edge. Su Ning studies Mo Lan from the side and immediately reads the same royal authority in her that Duan Chaofeng carries. Duan Chaofeng cuts through the small talk and says they are both here for the night beast, so there is no need to pretend otherwise. Mo Lan explains that the night beast is intelligent, vengeful, and likely noticed their search long ago, which is why it started striking first. When Duan Chaofeng mocks the idea of an alliance, Mo Lan backs off and only says she does not want a fellow royal to die here. Duan Chaofeng ignores her goodwill and orders his people to search, and Mo Lan's side starts searching too, with both factions watching each other every step of the way. High on a distant mountain, a hidden third group watches the whole standoff under the cover of Chu He's aura-concealing treasure. Lying praises Chu He's concealment, and the hidden group stays confident because their own lineup is strong, with Chu He at high-level Dao realm and the rest mostly 5th or 6th stage experts. Chu He asks if the night beast will really appear, and Lying says the disappearances fit its vengeful nature, even if the setup still feels strangely bold. Chu He decides to wait for the night beast and let the two royal camps fight over it first, planning to steal the prize in the chaos if a chance opens. Back in the weeds, a soft eerie sound suddenly spreads through the field and drags everyone's emotions toward a heavy, dangerous gloom. Su Ning instantly senses danger, and in the next breath a black light erupts across a 1,000-meter radius and swallows both camps whole. Dong Ji grabs Duan Chaofeng and tries to rush out, but a semi-transparent black curtain rises into a sealed dome and traps everyone inside. Even Dong Ji's punch only ripples the barrier, and that failure tells Su Ning they are truly locked in. Both camps scramble to regroup under the dome, with Shui Jinghua protecting Mo Lan while Dong Ji pulls the Harmony King mansion side together. Then the real threat descends through the dark barrier itself, and everyone sees the night beast at last. Watching from outside the dome, Chu He and Lying are stunned to realize the night beast is not mid-level Dao realm at all, but a high-level Dao realm adult. The hidden group nearly retreats on the spot, but Chu He decides to keep watching and gamble on stealing the beast only if the trap forces somehow cripple it first. Inside the trap, Dong Ji and Shui Jinghua also sense the night beast's true strength, and the bad news lands hard on both royal camps. Zhang He urges Dong Ji to hide Duan Chaofeng inside a spatial treasure, but that plan collapses when Dong Ji finds the black dome blocks entry into separate spaces. Su Ning tests his own hidden moon bead and gets the same result, which means even his last resort escape method is gone. With no safe retreat left, Su Ning draws the Cyan Wolf knife and braces himself to fight inside the sealed darkness. Dong Ji reacts fast and orders Zhang He to protect Duan Chaofeng, making the prince's survival the immediate priority. Then Dong Ji crosses to Shui Jinghua and, with the night beast right over them, asks Mo Lan's side to drop old hostility and fight together. Mo Lan's side forms a close guard around her at once, with Sun Yumo and Liang Tingang among the elites locking into place. The night beast lets out a weird throat sound, and the black fog around it thickens into swarming bug-shaped demon creatures with bladed legs. As the swarm forms, darkness starts eating away at everyone's senses, and the weaker fighters lose their vision and even their voices first. The bug swarm rushes the trapped crowd, and both camps instinctively tighten around their prince and princess. Su Ning forces himself to stay sharp, knowing that if the darkness steals all his perception, he will be finished before the monsters even need to kill him. He meets the first wave head-on and smashes several bug beasts apart, fighting shoulder to shoulder with the defenders around Duan Chaofeng. When one guard is struck and collapses without a visible wound, Su Ning realizes the bug blades inject black fog that speeds up the victim's fall into total darkness. That discovery makes the fight even worse, because now Su Ning knows every hit he takes will drag him deeper into the abyss. Above the chaos, Dong Ji and Shui Jinghua join forces and attack the night beast directly, one with crushing fists and the other with a flying sword. The night beast dodges easily and spits black liquid into the battlefield, and even a few splashes are enough to make nearby victims lose consciousness on the spot. As the swarm thickens, Suning gets slashed again and again, and each dose of black fog makes the darkness in his senses spread faster. Janhee is in just as bad a state, but he keeps shouting at Suning to hold on while sheer loyalty keeps him upright in front of Duan Chaofeng. One by one the other guards and aides drop, until only Janhee and Suning are still standing in front of Duan Chaofeng. Duan Chaofeng sees the two of them bleeding themselves dry to shield him, and the sight hits him harder than any speech could. When another bug beast lunges in, Duan Chaofeng suddenly steps forward himself and cuts it down before it can hit Suning or Janhee. Janhee panics and tells him to fall back, but Duan Chaofeng refuses to hide behind them any longer now that they are all fighting on the same edge of death. In that moment, Duan Chaofeng is deeply moved by Suning in particular, because a 4th stage Dao realm newcomer is risking everything for him like an old loyal retainer. Duan Chaofeng quietly resolves that if they survive this island, he will reward Suning heavily and raise his status inside the mansion. Suning is just as surprised, because until now he treated Duan Chaofeng as a useful patron, but seeing the prince step into danger for them changes that completely. For the first time, Suning stops seeing Duan Chaofeng as just a transaction and starts thinking of him as a real friend worth knowing. Inside the black light zone, Shui Jinghua finally admits the truth. Even fighting together with Dongji, they still cannot handle the night beast while it is empowered by the darkness. Dongji quickly changes the plan and tells Shui Jinghua they have to break the black light curtain and escape with the prince and princess the instant it opens. When Shui Jinghua asks how, Dongji gives the only answer left. They must burn their trump cards together and gamble everything on one opening strike. The two of them force the night beast back for a heartbeat, buying the tiny window they need. Dongji releases his Dao realm power, and a brilliant heptagonal symbol flares behind him like a final reserve of strength. At the same time, Shui Jinghua cuts her palm and stains her blade with blood, drawing out a blurred sword apparition behind her. Their two finishing moves crash into the black light curtain together and rip a huge hole through it. Even with their bodies already overdrawn, Dongji and Shui Jinghua do not rest for a second and immediately rush to grab the survivors. Dongji reaches Duan Chaofeng, Suning, and Janhee, finding that only those three from the Harmony King's side are still conscious enough to move. Suning, who had already prepared the wind smoke gourd and the cyan wolf knife swivel for a desperate last stand, realizes the escape route is suddenly real. As the hole begins sealing itself, the night beast turns and chases, trying to close the trap before they can all get out. Dongji bursts through with Duan Chaofeng, Suning, and Janhee, while Shui Jinghua escapes from the other side carrying Mo Lan, Tsingyumo, and Liang Tingang. Mo Lan had even protected Tsingyumo and Liang Tingang from sinking into the darkness, pulling the two badly battered sect leaders out with her. The instant they are outside, Dongji and Shui Jinghua seal their vulnerable people away inside spatial treasures for safety. Then they look back and realize the night beast has stopped at the boundary, staring coldly instead of chasing them into the open sea. Shui Jinghua's anger boils over, and she vows to kill the person who fed them the disastrously wrong intelligence once they get back. With both sides gutted and the endless sea still dangerous, Dongji decides they will leave the island immediately and return to State Wansheng together. Back inside the darkness, the night beast releases the black light curtain into a huge black fog, gathers the unconscious people around itself, and flies away with them under a dome of mist. Watching from hiding, Chu He and his group finally understand how monstrous the night beast really is, and the sight leaves them sweating. Chu He drops any thought of capturing it, judging that only 8th or 9th stage Dao realm experts could even hope to bring down an adult night beast. But Chu He is not leaving empty-handed, and his gaze turns cold as he picks a new target, the heavily weakened survivors from the Harmony King and Promise King's sides. He points out that Dongji and Shui Jinghua are both injured, the prince's groups are carrying treasures, and his own side is the one still in top condition, so he orders the pursuit. Soon after, a single giant ship pulls away from the island, a bleak retreat compared to the grand fleets that sailed in. On board, the Harmony King's side and Mo Lan's side keep their distance from each other, because forced cooperation has not erased the old grudge between Duan Chaofeng and Mo Lan. Back in his cabin, Suning finally feels the sensory deprivation on his body fading, and the delayed fear of that near-death fight starts catching up to him. Janhee soon comes in with a storage ring from Duan Chaofeng, saying the prince pulled out healing pills and resources for Suning right away. When Suning checks the ring, he is startled by how much is inside, because the reward is far beyond what his current injuries actually require. Janhee makes it even clearer that this is only what Duan Chaofeng could spare on the ship, and that a much bigger reward and a likely rise in status will come after they return. Suning thanks him with an easier, warmer tone, and after surviving a life-and-death crisis together, his bond with Janhee clearly feels closer. For Suning, the promotion itself matters less than what it could mean for the Swallow Heron sect, because higher status would also open more resources for his side. Before leaving, Janhee mentions one more thing. The two men beside Mo Lan are Tsingyumo of Wind Parasol Pavilion and Liang Tingang of Green Edge sect. That name hits hard, because Sun Ning instantly realizes the leaders of the two sects that once crushed Swallow Heron are now right here on the same ship. Zhang He points out that both sects were devastated on the island and, in their current condition, they are no longer a match for the Swallow Heron sect. Even so, Zhang He warns Su Ning not to move against them on the ship, because Mo Lan is still protecting them and any revenge now would put the princess in an impossible spot. Su Ning agrees to wait, and Zhang He adds that once Mo Lan stops backing those ruined sects, Duan Chaofeng's influence will make it easy to deal with them properly. Left alone again, Su Ning briefly lets himself look forward to the day when Parasol Pavilion and Green Edge sect finally face payback. He then turns back to the real gain in his hands and calculates that Duan Chaofeng's reward can push his stored energy past the halfway mark toward Dao Realm 5th stage. Su Ning enters the hidden moon bead, piles the pills into a small mountain, uses some to heal, and absorbs the rest for energy. After less than an hour, he comes out with his minor injuries basically healed and his reserves greatly improved. He also checks in on Gray and Cyan through the Demon Beast scroll, telling them what happened on the island and easing their fear after they hear how close the Night Beast disaster came. Once he is done, Su Ning heads out to personally thank Duan Chaofeng for the pills. Elsewhere on the ship, Tsunyumo and Liang Tingang sit in a gloom of their own, bitterly admitting that this mission ruined their sects and likely cost them Mo Lan's favor. They realize that without Mo Lan as a backer, their already crippled sects may not survive what comes next. Then Tsunyumo drops an even worse truth. The young master standing beside Duan Chaofeng is Su Ning, the current sect master of the Swallow Heron sect. That revelation leaves them cold, because a sect they once forced to collapse may now be backed by a prince while their own forces are falling apart. Just as despair settles in, a stranger's voice cuts through the room and says there may still be a way out. The intruder is Chu He, and the fact that he slipped onto the ship and into their room without even Dong Ji or Xue Jinghua noticing terrifies them immediately. Chu He refuses to name his side and instead offers them a choice dressed up as help: stop clinging to a dead future and state Wanxing and join him instead. Both sect masters try to deflect him, saying their strength is too weak to handle whatever task he has in mind. Chu He drops the pretense at once, unleashing crushing pressure and making it clear this is not a negotiation but a command to obey or die. Forced by sheer survival instinct, the two sect masters finally bow their heads and ask what he wants them to do. Chu He gives each of them a carved stone plate, and orders them to throw the plates at Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua when the two high-level experts are distracted. The pair protest that they would be instantly suppressed if they tried anything in front of 7-stage masters, but Chu He says he will create the distraction himself. They have no real choice left, so they agree, even knowing this betrayal could get them killed either way. To make sure they cannot back out, Chu He sends 2 streams of qi into their bodies and leaves a hidden killing force inside them. After planting that final leash, Chu He disappears from the cabin, leaving the 2 sect masters sitting in numb silence with no safe path left. A violent crash rocks the giant ship at sea, jolting the resting Dong Ji awake with a bad feeling. Shouts from the deck confirm it is no accident at all. A sea demon beast is attacking the ship. Sensing a mid-level Dao realm aura outside, Dong Ji heads straight for the deck because the crew cannot handle this quickly on their own. Xue Jinghua also feels the danger and leaves her cabin at once, recognizing Tsunyumo's alarm outside. Su Ning, Zhang He, Duan Chaofeng, and Mo Lan all rush up too, uneasy enough to see the threat with their own eyes. On deck, Su Ning finally sees the attacker, a giant squid-like sea demon beast with thick limbs gripping the ship and forcing its body up from the water. Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua silently agree to handle it together, while Zhang He tells Duan Chaofeng to retreat because 2 high-level masters should make quick work of 1 mid-level beast. Duan Chaofeng relaxes a little after realizing this is not the night beast that had him on edge. Mo Lan notices Tsunyumo and Liang Tingang are already on deck and presses them on why they were out here instead of resting, which makes both men visibly uncomfortable. Before they can answer, the squid demon beast suddenly leaps up and slams down onto the deck. Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua move first, shielding the others while attacking the beast. Then the monster's body swells grotesquely, and both veterans instantly realize it is about to self-destruct. With no time to move everyone into a treasure space, Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua throw up a transparent barrier and take the blast head-on. The people behind them stay unharmed, but the ship is blasted full of holes and the 2 defenders come out with their auras in disarray. Hidden behind Dong Ji's protection, Su Ning feels a chill when he judges that the beast's self-destruction hit as hard as a 7th-stage Dao Realm strike. Duan Chaofeng and Mo Lan quickly check on their protectors, and both Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua say the injuries are manageable while they start stabilizing themselves. That brief recovery window is exactly what the traders were waiting for, and Tsunyumo and Liang Tingang suddenly throw out the round stone plates Chu He gave them. Zhang He reacts on instinct and smashes both men away with a punch, but he is already a heartbeat too late. As the plates touch Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua, dazzling lines burst out and wrap around them like chains, locking down their power. Both veterans recognize the trap immediately. It is a binding lock, the kind of treasure that can suppress even high-level Dao Realm masters to less than 40% strength. Before they can retaliate, several gray-robed figures burst up from the sea and land across the deck, led by a man with terrifying 7th-stage Dao Realm pressure. Mo Lan is stunned when she realizes Tsunyumo and Liang Tingang have been working with these outsiders behind her back. Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua demand to know who the leader is, but Chu He only smiles, which makes the whole ambush feel even worse. Watching him reward the traitors with a satisfied glance, Su Ning pieces it together. The squid attack, the hidden approach, and the binding lock were all part of a prepared ambush. Knowing the binding lock will not last forever, Chu He stops wasting words and orders the attack immediately. His orders are brutal and clear. He will handle Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua himself, while the others are to kill everyone except Harmony Prince Duan Chaofeng and Promised Princess and Mo Lan. Dong Ji warns that attacking the Wanqing imperial family will bring terrible consequences, but Chu He only laughs and says he means to trade the captured prince and princess to the Duan imperial family for profit. That answer chills everyone, because it means these attackers belong to a major overseas force strong enough to ignore imperial retaliation. Unable to trust their weakened odds, Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua order Duan Chaofeng and the others to run instead of hiding inside a spatial treasure. The two high-level guards launch themselves into battle anyway, throwing their weakened strength into blocking the gray-robed attackers. Seeing the opening they bought, Duan Chaofeng grits his teeth and summons his rainbow-colored bird from a spatial treasure. He wastes no time dragging Zhang He, Su Ning, and even Mo Lan onto the bird's back for a desperate escape. Chu He spots the move and orders his men to stop them before they can get airborne. Blocked from reaching them in time, Tsunyumo and Liang Tingang throw themselves forward instead, desperate to prove loyalty by crippling the bird's wings. In that instant, Su Ning jumps back off the bird because he knows one damaged wing will doom all of them. Using the wind smoke gourd and the cyan wolf knife at full power, Su Ning catches both traitors off guard and cuts them down with 2 decisive slashes. He even snatches their storage rings before grabbing the bird's claws as it finally lifts away from the ambush. As the bird flies into the distance with Su Ning hanging on, Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua are shaken but relieved that the younger group really got away. Chu He curses the 2 dead traitors as useless and orders the remaining 6 gray-robed men to chase the escapees at once. While Chu He keeps Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua pinned down, Liang releases 2 gray-feathered birds and sends his team after Duan Chaofeng's group. Even wounded and suppressed, Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua can only watch in frustration because Chu He alone is enough to keep both of them occupied. Chu He presses the advantage with a thick chain wrapped in gray fog, openly treating this battle as a chance to rob 2 high-ranking officials. Out over the sea, Lai Ying's group quickly realizes their normal speed is not enough because Duan Chaofeng's rainbow-colored bird is simply faster. To fix that, Lai Ying grimly feeds dark yellow pills to both gray-feathered birds, knowing the boost will damage their future bloodline potential. The gamble works, and the 2 pursuit mounts surge forward until the escaping bird is back within sight. On the rainbow-colored bird, Zhang He is still rattled by what Su Ning just did and admits that reckless counterattack nearly got him killed. Su Ning answers calmly that it was not blind bravery at all, just a quick calculation that 2 injured 5th-stage traitors would die if he struck first with everything he had. That answer leaves Duan Chaofeng with an even better impression of Su Ning, because he saved them without trying to turn the moment into a performance. Mo Lan feels even more complicated, because Su Ning risked himself to save her right after her own trusted subordinates betrayed her, and after her side had once harmed his swallow hair insect. She finally says it plainly. If they make it back to State Wanqing alive, she will repay this favor to Duan Chaofeng and Su Ning. Duan Chaofeng shuts that down for now and says surviving comes first, while Su Ning only gives Mo Lan a brief glance and stays silent. A moment later, Zhang He spots gray shadows catching up behind them and warns that the pursuers are closing fast. Duan Chaofeng immediately forces a stimulant pill into the rainbow-colored bird too, no longer able to care about the damage if it keeps them alive. Zhang He lays out the ugly truth. The enemy has 3 6th-stage Dao Realm fighters, and their own side cannot win a straight fight while also protecting Duan Chaofeng and Mo Lan. Mo Lan adds another problem. In half an hour they will leave the clear sky region and enter far more dangerous airspace full of dark clouds, lightning, and thin spiritual energy. That deadline pushes Su Ning to a desperate but clear idea. If he can break through to core cleansing right now, he may be able to turn this chase around. He checks the storage rings he just stole and is shocked to find around 5 million units of energy worth of pills, spirit herbs, and other resources inside. Su Ning immediately asks to enter his spatial treasure and attempt an emergency breakthrough to the core cleansing realm. Duan Chaofeng and Zhang He are both caught off guard, because Su Ning only reached core materialization a few months ago, but Zhang He quickly sees this as their best chance. Zhang He agrees to guard the hidden moon bead outside, and Su Ning entrusts his life to him without hesitation. Inside the hidden moon bead, Su Ning dumps out the loot and sees enough resources to build a mid-sized sect, but he has no time to admire any of it. For the first time, he absorbs energy with pure speed instead of patience, grabbing huge amounts at once while the notifications keep coming. In just half an hour, he devours 4 million units of energy and pushes his reserves up to 8.5 million. Su Ning spends it all at once and starts the breakthrough with no hesitation. His inner core is cleansed again and again until it reaches an absurd 60 rounds, far beyond what ordinary core cleansing cultivators can manage. With the breakthrough complete, Suning reaches Dao Realm 5th stage and knows his inner core quality now stands on another level. He leaves the hidden moonbeat immediately, and the richer outside spiritual energy rushes back into his newly strengthened body. John He feels the change at once and blurts out in surprise that Suning really did break through to core cleansing. As Suning finishes breaking through, Duan Chaofeng looks openly relieved because their chances of surviving just jumped. Lan stays calm on the surface, but inwardly she is shocked that Suning broke through so fast when Dao Realm advances normally take heavy preparation and time. She remembers hearing about Suning from Tsunyumo and Liang Tingang when he was only 3rd stage, and now just a year later he has already reached the 5th stage. That growth makes Lan see Suning as someone who could rise into State Wanchung's top tier under Duan Chaofeng's support, maybe even close to figures like the Red Sea Demon Lord. Then the problem hits her. She and Suning already have bad blood, so if he survives and keeps rising, that grudge could become dangerous. Lan quickly settles on a new plan and tells herself that since she never directly helped destroy the Swallow Heron sect, there may still be room to mend things with benefits and goodwill later. Looking ahead, Suning warns that the farther they fly, the thinner the spiritual energy gets, so a long chase will favor the 6 enemies behind them. Instead of being worn down in bad conditions, Suning proposes a hard reversal and says they should turn around and attack first. John He hesitates because Duan Chaofeng is still at risk, but Suning answers with total confidence now that his foundation, Wind Smoke Gourd, and Cyan Wolf Knife are backing him. Duan Chaofeng backs Suning's call, deciding the only way out is to fight back. Lan immediately says she and Duan Chaofeng should hide inside a spatial treasure so they do not drag the fighters down. Suning and John He clearly do not trust her, but Duan Chaofeng accepts the idea and ends the tension. With the prince and princess sealed away for safety, John He carefully stores the spatial treasure and readies his spear for the counterattack. The rainbow-colored bird wheels around in the sky, and the 2 men charge straight back toward their pursuers. The gray-robed group first thinks their prey has gone stupid, but Lying feels something is off and quietly prepares extra insurance. Acting on that instinct, Lying releases 2 mid-level Dao Realm flying demon beasts to reinforce the trap. When the 2 sides close in, Lying gives one last warning to hand over Duan Chaofeng and Lan, but his own allies ignore him and rush forward first. Suning opens the fight with the Wind Smoke Gourd, flooding the sky with gray mist to blind and poison the attackers. Lying instantly recognizes the threat and warns the others that the fog cuts perception and carries poisonous miasma. Suning realizes the fog no longer crushes stronger Dao Realm enemies the way it did weaker ones, but he stays calm because his real edge now is raw combat power. He draws on the Cyan Wolf Knife's will and casually cuts Lai Ying's 2 demon beasts in half with 2 clean slashes. That effortless kill shocks everyone, and even Suning feels the difference as his strong foundation finally explodes into visible advantage. Before the enemy can recover, Suning presses in and deliberately targets the weaker 5th stage opponents first. One gray-robed man is beheaded on the spot, and the formation starts breaking apart under Suning's rush. Lying notices Suning is thinning out the vulnerable fighters and scrambles to regroup the others around him. It is too late, and after another furious burst from Suning, only 3 6th stage masters are still alive. Seeing the battlefield flip, Suning calls John He in, and suddenly the 2 of them are the side with momentum. The fight becomes a clean reversal as blade light and spear strikes overwhelm the last 3 attackers over the sea. Suning cuts down one 6th stage enemy, then another a few breaths later, and neither he nor Zhang He takes any injury in the process. Now alone and terrified, Lying drops his resistance and begs to be spared. He desperately tries to buy his life by claiming he knows Chu He's weakness and can help them save the trapped high-level masters. Zhang He looks to Suning for the decision now, a quiet sign that Suning's strength has fully won his trust. Suning decides to keep Lying alive for the moment, because any real weakness against Chu He could be the difference between life and death for Dong Ji and Shui Jinghua. To make sure the surrender is real, Suning seals Lying with Dao Realm power, and Lying submits without daring to resist. Only after that does Zhang He call Duan Chaofeng and Lan back out of the spatial treasure. When they see Lying captured and the rest gone, Duan Chaofeng and Lan both look like they just escaped disaster. Zhang He tells them Suning basically crushed the whole group, and Duan Chaofeng smiles while Lan studies Suning even more carefully. Suning brushes the praise aside and goes straight to questioning Lying about who they really are. Lying reveals they belong to the hidden sect, and unlike Suning, the other 3 immediately know that name and react with surprise. Zhang He explains that the hidden sect is a shady foreign power that slips into State Wanchung to plunder resources and make secret moves, and the imperial court has already marked it for extermination. Zhang He starts pressing for details about the sect, but Suning cuts him off because the real priority is still how to stop Chu He. Lying says Chu He carries 2 important secret treasures, one for hiding his aura and another far more dangerous one called the Blood Amplification Scimitar. He explains that the blood-red scimitar fuses with Chu He in battle, drinks his flesh and blood through connected vessels, and returns terrifying power strong enough to let him fight at the peak of 7th stage. But that same connection is also the flaw, because if the linked hand is cut off, Chu He loses the weapon's rhythm and drops into a weakened state. The idea is simple now. If they can sever that hand, Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua can finally push the battle back the other way. Mo Lan adds that this kind of blood-linked treasure is real and not unheard of, saying she learned about similar cases directly from the Empress. Duan Chaofeng immediately worries about the hardest part, because landing a surprise cut on a 7-stage master should be nearly impossible. Mo Lan answers by taking out a pure white void stone, a rare life-saving treasure that can force a real void jump even when normal interference would stop weaker teleportation. The moment Su Ning senses the void stone, he recognizes the same kind of power Gray uses and understands just how precious this thing really is. Mo Lan offers the stone without hesitation and says that with one clean jump into the battlefield, they can cut Chu He before he even reacts. Su Ning accepts at once, fully confident that one teleport is enough to take Chu He's hand. With the plan locked in, Duan Chaofeng orders them back to the main battlefield immediately. Meanwhile, in the sky where the ship was destroyed, Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua are still being driven back by Chu He's unnatural blood-red weapon while the binding lock keeps both of them below half strength. Dong Ji realizes the real monster here is not just Chu He himself, but the living will inside that blood-red scimitar, and he starts to despair. Chu He, pale from feeding the weapon but still arrogant, swallows pills mid-fight and boasts that he will send both of them off nicely after he wins. With no help in sight, Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua both think they may really die here, yet each still worries more about their prince and princess escaping safely. Then they hear a bird cry and look up to see Duan Chaofeng, Zhang He, and Mo Lan returning on the rainbow-colored bird, with Su Ning nowhere in sight. Instead of feeling saved, Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua panic, because coming back openly should have been suicide. Chu He misreads the return completely, laughs that they must have failed to escape, and attacks even more wildly now that he thinks all of them are trapped together. At that exact opening, a spatial crack tears open beside Chu He and Su Ning bursts out of the void with the cyan wolf knife already swinging. Before Chu He can react, Su Ning's strike lands and severs the hand holding the blood amplification scimitar. Su Ning finally sees Chu He's severed hand and the blood amplification scimitar drop, and the relief hits him all at once because his one-shot void stone gamble actually worked. Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua are stunned to see Su Ning alive, because a moment ago they thought he had died during the pursuit. Dong Ji reacts first and shouts for everyone to kill Chu He immediately, realizing the scimitar was the core of Chu He's strength, and this is their best chance to turn the fight around. Chu He realizes too late that the situation has flipped, and in his panic he abandons both his fallen hand and his scimitar and tries to run. But weakened Chu He cannot escape two Dao realm opponents, and Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua rush him together to finish the fight fast. They wanted Chu He alive, but he would rather die than be taken back to State Wanxing, so he burns his potential and even shatters his own storage ring to deny them his treasures. Less than 20 seconds later, Chu He is dead, and the strain finally crashes down on Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua after a battle they barely survived. Searching the corpse, Dong Ji finds one surviving treasure Chu He failed to destroy, the concealing ring he used to hide his aura and aid cultivation. He also picks up the blood amplification scimitar, so even after losing the rest of Chu He's resources, the group still comes away with two valuable secret treasures. Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua board Duan Chaofeng's rainbow-colored bird, and Duan Chaofeng explains everything that happened while they were separated. After hearing the story, Dong Ji and Xue Jinghua look at Su Ning differently, because his talent and value have clearly started exploding far beyond the norm. Dong Ji openly tells Su Ning that killing and capturing hidden sect members is a major contribution, and the Imperial Court will almost certainly reward him after they return. Su Ning does not grab all the credit, and immediately says Zhang He helped too. Duan Chaofeng unexpectedly speaks up for Mo Lan as well, and even she is a little surprised by the shift in his attitude. Mo Lan agrees that without Su Ning and Zhang He, the Void Stone would have been useless in her hands, which makes Duan Chaofeng's warmer treatment of her even more obvious to Su Ning. Su Ning notices that change but keeps his distance, because Mo Lan is still indirectly tied to the Swallow Heron sect's destruction, and he has no reason to get friendly with her first. Xue Jinghua cuts off the discussion and brings out a smaller, more delicate sailing Dao weapon so everyone can finally leave the battlefield and rest. As the ship gets moving, Dong Ji remembers the captured hidden sect member and asks where he is being kept. Zhang He says the prisoner is stored inside one of Duan Chaofeng's spatial treasures, and Dong Ji decides they should send that living witness straight to the capital. Zhang He volunteers to escort the hidden sect captive himself, showing how seriously they all take the Imperial Court's campaign against that faction. Dong Ji then brings out Chu He's two recovered treasures and asks Duan Chaofeng how they should be divided. Xue Jinghua and Mo Lan stay quiet, because there is no point fighting over the treasures when Su Ning changed the whole battle and they all know it. After a short pause, Duan Chaofeng decides the concealing ring should go to Su Ning. Su Ning is briefly surprised, but he accepts the reward without fake hesitation and thanks Duan Chaofeng directly. Dong Ji explains that the aura concealment ring can hide Su Ning's aura even from higher realms as long as he does not release it, and it can even cover people around him. Su Ning quickly realizes the ring is precious at Dao realm level, because ordinary aura hiding pills no longer work for someone as strong as him. He also suspects the ring may help cultivation, giving him another reason to test it later in private. When the conversation turns to the blood amplification scimitar, Duan Chaofeng hesitates instead of assigning it right away. Dongji warns that the blade feels wrong because he can sense a consciousness inside it, making the weapon dangerous to use despite its power. So Duan Chaofeng orders the scimitar stored away for now, planning to revisit it only after they are safely back at the mansion. With that settled, everyone finally separates to rest, especially Dongji and Shui Jinghua, who still have to spend time removing the binding lock's lingering restraint. 2 hard months later, the ship finally reaches State Wanxing, and Su Ning feels the familiar spiritual energy of home the moment he steps ashore. Looking back on the half-year journey overseas, Su Ning knows the night beast got away, but for him the trip still paid off in realm growth, treasure, resources, and stronger ties to Duan Chaofeng. Before they part, Mo Lan proposes a future joint operation to capture the night beast with stronger high-level Dao realm experts. Duan Chaofeng agrees, because the failed hunt cost the Harmony Prince's side too much, and he wants another shot even if he will not risk going personally again. Mo Lan then turns to Su Ning and openly thanks him for protecting her, even inviting him to visit her in State Luji so she can repay him properly. Su Ning answers with calm courtesy but no extra warmth, and Mo Lan can only leave with a trace of regret. Mo Lan and Shui Jinghua head back to State Luji, while Duan Chaofeng finally exhales and says it is good to be back. Instead of returning straight to the mansion, Su Ning asks to visit Swallow Heron Sect first because he has been gone for more than half a year, and needs to see its condition with his own eyes. Duan Chaofeng agrees readily and only asks Su Ning to come to the mansion within 3 months, showing how much friendlier his attitude has become. As Su Ning's group heads back towards State Guqing, the story briefly shifts to another coast in State Wanxing where 2 old friends finally arrive from the Abyss North. Himinji is openly excited by how rich the spiritual energy is here, while Seeing still sounds shaken by how many dangers almost killed them on the endless sea. Once they steady themselves, both of them focus on the same next step, finding out where Su Ning is now. Seeing is especially curious to see how far Su Ning has risen in the 2 years since he reached State Wanxing before them. The reason they can even stand here now is that both of them had lucky encounters back in the Abyss North, and used those chances to break into the Dao realm much faster than expected. Seeing found a mystic realm left behind by a high-level Dao realm traveler, and gained part of its inheritance, letting her condense 2 Dao seeds in a short time and break through. Himinji's rise came through Wan Ye's personal guidance and an extra stroke of luck from the golden-eyed demon Apes Island. There, Wan Yi discovered a crucial pill ingredient and worked with alchemists to refine a medicine that gave Himinji the chance to cross a major realm. After breaking through, both of them immediately felt how terrible the Abyss North's cultivation environment had become for Dao realm masters, so traveling together to State Wanxing became the obvious choice. With Wan Ye's Dao weapon ship carrying them through the sea, they finally made it alive and trust that Dao realm's strength should at least be enough to survive here. The harder question is finding Su Ning, so Seeing lays out 2 options: ask Source Sect directly, or chase rumors about Swallow Heron Sect. Himinji argues that Source Sect is the smarter first move, because even a talented outsider like Su Ning might not have built a famous public name in State Wanxing so quickly. Seeing agrees, and the 2 of them set off using Wan Ye's map to reach Source Sect first. Back in State Guqing, Su Ning finally reaches the gate of Swallow Heron Sect and feels the return land for real. But the first thing he gets is not a welcome, because several gate disciples stop him and demand to know who he is. Su Ning is caught off guard by that, then quickly realizes these faces are all unfamiliar because the sect must have expanded a lot while he was gone. He is just about to avoid the hassle and enter another way when a familiar voice calls out from behind the disciples. Qingxiu arrives, takes one look at Su Ning, and blurts out "Master" in pure shock and joy. The gate disciples freeze in horror when they realize the man they just challenged is actually the sect master they have only heard about. Instead of getting angry, Su Ning checks Qingxiu's cultivation and is quietly pleased to find that his once shaky foundation is stable and his realm has already improved again. Qingxiu eagerly welcomes Su Ning back, the relief on his face making it clear the sect has been waiting for this return. When Su Ning remarks that Swallow Heron Sect seems different again, Qingxiu proudly explains that Qingxingtao and the others have been working day and night to rebuild it. Then Qingxiu gives the number that really shows the change. The sect now has more than 2,500 members across all disciple ranks. Hearing that, Su Ning cannot help feeling emotional, because 2 years ago he struggled just to rebuild the sect at all, and now its overall strength already surpasses the old Swallow Heron Sect in several ways. Its disciple quality is still behind the old days, but with time, resources, and the small tree world's help, Su Ning can already see how that gap will close. Qingxiu quickly explains that the disciples at the gate were newly recruited outer disciples who simply had never seen Su Ning before. Su Ning sees that Qingxiu is also using the moment to win hearts and build prestige, but he does not mind because that kind of ambition can still help the sect. So Su Ning lets the matter go and simply tells the frightened disciples to practice well and serve the sect, which instantly takes the pressure off them. With that settled, Su Ning walks back into his own sect at last. News of Su Ning's return spreads fast, and before long the sect's key figures all hurry to the main peak to greet him. Cheng Xingtao, Xiao Sun, Tongli, O Wei, Fan Yoli, Shi Baoqing, and the other elders and elite disciples gather before Suning, turning his return into a full sect reunion. After a brief talk with everyone, Suning dismisses the crowd and keeps only Cheng Xingtao and Fan Yoli behind for a more focused conversation. Looking straight at Fan Yoli, Suning praises him with real surprise because in just half a year he has crossed 3 realms and reached Void Realm's 6th stage. Back at Swallow Heron Sect, Suning praises Fan Yoli's progress and is glad the sect finally has one disciple with real promise. Inwardly, Suning compares Fan Yoli's talent to his own and knows the martial arts panel still puts them in completely different leagues. When Suning dismisses him, Fan Yoli blurts out the request he never gave up on and asks to become the sect master's personal disciple. Suning refuses again, explaining that Fan Yoli's path is too unusual for him to teach, and his current freedom and resources are already the best deal. Fan Yoli accepts it with a grumble, but he still leaves swaggering like he is destined to become Swallow Heron Sect's top disciple. After Fan Yoli leaves, Suning asks Cheng Xingtao for his real judgment on the boy's background and growth. Cheng Xingtao says Fan Yoli acts simple and direct at heart, and his breakthroughs look less like orthodox cultivation and more like a demon-beast bloodline evolving naturally. Even after digging into Fan Yoli's past, Cheng Xingtao only learned that he was adopted from the mountains as a child, which makes his origins feel even stranger. Suning decides the mystery can wait, because now that Fan Yoli carries Swallow Heron Sect's mark, the sect should focus on raising him well. The talk moves to the sect itself, and Cheng Xingtao brightens with obvious pride when Suning asks how much Swallow Heron's sect has changed. Cheng Xingtao lays out the full picture, and the best news for Suning is that the sect's resource trade with Harmony King Mansion has already reached balance. With a few more years of growth, Swallow Heron's sect should stop bleeding support and start feeding resources back to Suning instead. Suning praises Cheng Xingtao directly, and for the loyal old disciple, seeing Swallow Heron's sect revived is reward enough. Then Suning casually drops the bombshell that he has already killed Sun Yumo and Liang Tingyang, the 2 enemies tied to Swallow Heron Sect's destruction. Cheng Xingtao is so stunned he can barely believe it, because those 2 men were the enemies he hated most. Suning confirms it and adds that their elite forces were wiped out too, so both hostile sects are basically finished. That news finally gives Cheng Xingtao closure, and he looks at Suning with near fanatical gratitude for rebuilding the sect and avenging it. Suning ends the conversation and sends him off, while Cheng Xingtao hurries away eager to share the revenge news with the old Swallow Heron disciples. Once alone, Suning releases Gray and Cyan and orders Gray to summon the captured Dao Realm demon beasts to become Swallow Heron Sect's new guardians. Watching that new defense take shape, Suning thinks again about repairing the damaged core of the demon beast scroll for Gray. With his broader knowledge now, Suning is convinced the demon beast scroll came from an extremely high-level Dao powerhouse and was only damaged by an unworthy successor. Time passes quietly as Suning stays in the sect, refining pills, absorbing resources, teaching disciples, and even personally studying Fan Yoli's odd cultivation path. But even after following Fan Yoli closely, Suning still cannot pin down what exactly makes the boy so unusual. One day, a nervous gate disciple rushes to the main peak and reports that 2 special visitors are asking to see Suning. When the disciple says the visitors are old friends from the Abyss North named Himinji and Seeing, Suning's calm face immediately lights up. Excited to see them and curious how they reached Dao Realm so fast, Suning vanishes on the spot to greet them himself. The gate disciple exhales in relief, glad he treated the sect master's old friends politely enough not to offend anyone important. At the sect entrance, Himinji and Seeing stand staring at the huge Swallow Heron sect in open shock at how far Suning has taken it. They had originally planned to ask about Suning at the source sect, but on the way they kept hearing that Swallow Heron sect had already become a major force in State Guqing. After confirming the sect master was really named Suning and the rise happened in just 2 years, they realized this powerful sect was his work after all. Himinji says it outright. With Suning's talent, even after coming from the Abyss North, he still ended up at the very top. For Seeing, the reunion means even more, because the man who once saved her life has only become more extraordinary. Before they can wait any longer, Suning flashes in front of them and greets both old friends with a smile. The 2 answer with obvious happiness, and the awkward distance of 2 years apart disappears almost instantly. Suning personally brings them to the main peak and receives them like true old friends instead of mere visitors. Once seated with spiritual medicinal tea, Suning asks the question on his mind first. When did they break through to the Dao Realm? Himinji explains that both of them found lucky opportunities, and Seeing admits their breakthrough relied on outside help so their foundations are not especially solid. Suning reassures them that in State Guqing's richer environment, their weaker foundations can still be stabilized without much trouble. Himinji then marvels at Suning's own feat, saying Senior One you would be thrilled to know Swallow Heron sect has been rebuilt to this level. Suning brushes off the praise, and Himinji and Seeing are quietly happy that power and status still have not changed him. When Suning asks about Wan Ye's injuries, Himinji says they are still not fully healed but have at least been brought under control thanks to Suning's old pills. That answer settles Suning, and he silently realizes that with his current alchemy he could fully restore Wan Yi if he returns to the Abyss North later. He also asks about Chiu Rishan, Duyuan, and Duan Qinghui, the three elders who wrecked their foundations by forcing Dao breakthroughs in the old crisis. Himinji says the three are stable but need 5 full years to recover, and they plan to come to State Wanqing after that. As for Mi Xingye, he has only just formed one attribute seed and is still working on a second, so his own Dao breakthrough will take longer. Then Himinji hands Su Ning a letter with childish writing on it and tells him to see for himself who sent it. The moment Su Ning recognizes Tao Tao's handwriting, his face softens in an instant. He reads the whole thing with an unguarded smile, savoring every line before carefully putting the letter away. Tao Tao writes that she entered the Source Sect and became Sect Master Feng Xiu's disciple, and because she does not want to shame Uncle Su Ning, she trains especially hard. At only 9 years old, Tao Tao has already reached the 6th stage of the mortal realm, and Su Ning is genuinely pleased with that pace. The letter also says Tao Yunchuan and Su Lian now live in Yuning City near the Wei family so they can care for Tao Tao, and Su Ning's name has made their lives comfortable there. They still miss home, but the biggest surprise in the letter is that Gui Yi has already gotten married and even become a father. That tiny update hits Su Ning harder than expected, and he laughs that he wants to go back and claim Gui Ye's son as his godson. With so much changed in just 2 years, Su Ning cannot help feeling a tug of homesickness for the Abyss North. Seeing gently says they should all return to the Abyss North when the time is right, and Su Ning agrees. Once the mood settles, Su Ning asks what the two of them plan to do next in State Wanqing. Himinji answers with blunt honesty that they came here to seek shelter under Su Ning, and Su Ning immediately agrees to let them join Swallow Heron Sect. Su Ning does add one condition: to keep the sect stable, he can only make them prospective elders for now instead of full elders. The two do not care about rank at all, because what matters most is finally having a safe foothold and resources in this unfamiliar state. But before joining officially, Himinji says they still need to visit the Source Sect in State Wanqing and report back safely to the Abyss North. He also explains that Feng Xiu specifically told them to inspect the Source Sect here, because no news has returned to the Abyss North for more than a year. That catches Su Ning's attention immediately, because he knows the two Source Sects rely on a one-way communication tool from State Wanqing to the Abyss North. After a brief pause, Su Ning decides he will go with them himself and finally visit the Source Sect after all this time. They agree to leave in 3 days, turning a reunion visit into the start of Su Ning's next trip. Right then, Cheng Xingtao rushes in after hearing Su Ning's old friends from the Abyss North have arrived. Su Ning introduces Himinji and seeing as his senior brother and senior sister from the Abyss North, and tells Cheng Xingtao to arrange them as prospective elders. Cheng Xingtao accepts at once, because 2 Dao realm arrivals tied to Su Ning are more than enough to strengthen Swallow Heron Sect. A month later in State Fengling, Ting Yukong stands in a dark room and nervously asks his sect master if the Source Sect really has to attend the Canton Sect conference. Xianandao forces out a yes, because skipping the conference would let every sect in the canton accuse the Source Sect of breaking ranks and use that as an excuse to destroy them. Ting Yukong curses the surrounding sects as greedy, and the story turns back to the mine that made the Source Sect everyone else's target. Source Sect disciples once discovered a rich green-patterned winter iron mine near the sect, a resource valuable enough to forge Dao weapons and change the sect's future. The elders were thrilled, because a weak sect like theirs could only rise fast with a backer, a monster genius, or a resource this valuable. That excitement quickly turned into fear, because an unofficial sect holding a mine like this was basically inviting stronger neighbors to rob it. The Source Sect tried to mine in extreme secrecy, but the news still leaked in less than 3 months and turned them into a fat target across the canton. To survive, Xianandao reached out to an old acquaintance from an official sect and traded away part of the mining rights in exchange for protection. That deal kept the Source Sect alive for a while, but more than a year ago the elder died in an accident and their shield vanished overnight. With their protector gone, the sects that had been holding back stopped pretending, and Xianandao realized they were now quietly joining forces to split the mine. Back in the candlelit room, Ting Yukong asks what they will do if the conference really turns into a public squeeze. Xianandao gives the bitter answer: if they are cornered, the Source Sect may have to cut off its own arm and surrender the mine to survive. Ting Yukong looks stricken, because he knows this mine is the one real chance the Source Sect has ever had to rise. Xianandao has no better answer, so he orders the disciples prepared as usual and sends Ting Yukong away with the weight of that decision still hanging in the room. Once Ting Yukong leaves, Xianandao is left alone in the candlelight, quietly worn down by the burden of keeping the Source Sect alive. A few days later, Su Ning, Himinji, and Seeing arrive in Yuxiang County and immediately feel how different State Wanqing is from the places they know. Himinji is impressed that Void Realm fighters are common on the road here, while Seeing points out something even rarer: strong martial artists and ordinary people living side by side under real laws. As they walk, Su Ning notices multiple groups of uniformed sect members hurrying east and realizes Yuxiang County must be hosting some kind of sect gathering. That possibility instantly hooks Himinji and Seeing, and they want to see the event for themselves. Su Ning keeps it practical and leads them into a luxurious restaurant first, planning to ask around before they rush in blind. After ordering expensive spirit-rich dishes, Suning casually tips the waiter with pure source pills and asks if there is a sect conference in town. The waiter eagerly confirms that all the sects of Ziyu Canton are gathering today, and outsiders can watch as long as they pay 100 pure source pills each. When Himinji asks whether the nearby source sect will be there, the waiter says yes and lowers his voice, because everyone knows this conference is partly aimed at pressuring them. The waiter explains the mine dispute, and Suning's group finally sees just how bad the source sect's position has become. Suning rewards the waiter again, and the man leaves beaming after making half a year's worth of gain from one table. Himinji says Feng Xiu's warning was right after all, and Seeing immediately asks Suning whether they can help the source sect. Suning believes his strength should be enough to settle a crisis in a canton this week, but because they are in state Fengling with no backing, he decides to watch first before making a move. With that plan set, the three finish their meal and head east toward the sect conference grounds. The conference venue turns out to be a flower garden, bright with spring blossoms and packed with sect disciples and paying spectators. Suning and his companions hand over 300 pure source pills and are led into the stands above the sparring ground. From the stands, they see a venue already more than half full, with young disciples everywhere burning to stand out in front of their elders. Suning quietly scans the crowd for familiar faces from the source sect, but they have not arrived yet. He also judges the field at a glance and finds that the strongest person present so far is only at Dao Round 4th stage, confirming this canton is not especially powerful. Watching the event takes Himinji back to Yuelan's demon slaying conference, and he smiles as he reminds Suning that everything changed for him there. Suning smiles too, remembering the moment his path in martial arts truly took off. Then Seeing spots a familiar uniform, and Suning finally sees the source sect entering the venue. Himinji confirms them by their uniforms, and Suning picks out Ting Yukong and Gu Man among the group. Suning studies the leader and realizes the older Astral Chi Realm Master at the front must be Sect Master Xianan Dao, with 4 more Dao Realm First Stage Elders behind him. As they enter, Ting Yukong mutters that the whole venue feels hostile, because the other sects are already staring at them with mocking eyes. Xianan Dao does not answer, but the caution in his cold eyes says he feels the same danger. The source sect takes its seats in a tight, silent cluster, and their entire side looks isolated while the other sects chat like old friends. Seeing wants to go over and reunite right away, but Suning holds them back and chooses to keep watching the situation unfold. Soon the venue fills completely, and a sudden shout announces the arrival of Canton Governor Ji. Every sect elder and disciple stands at once, because the Canton Governor is not just the local ruler but also the strongest man here. Canton Governor Ji walks in with calm authority, and Suning immediately judges him to be Dao Realm 5th stage, about the same realm but nowhere near his actual strength. Ji tells everyone to relax and claims he is only here as a spectator, then takes a seat beside the stage next to 2 Dao Realm 4th stage sect masters. Even while they smile and talk to the governor, those 2 sect masters keep glancing toward the source sect, making the pressure around Xianan Dao feel even more deliberate. At noon the host steps onto the stage, gives the usual formalities, and lays out the conference order: disciple bouts first, then elder and sect master challenges. That schedule excites even the paying outsiders, because they are getting both disciple matches and rare Dao Realm fights for the same ticket. Once the disciple rounds begin, Himinji quickly realizes that State Wanchung's younger martial artists are not just stronger in realm but much sharper in martial skill. Seeing agrees, saying that compared with these disciples, even the standouts back in the Abyss North would struggle to keep up. Then the source sect's turn finally comes, and Suning's group watches much more closely. A source sect disciple and his opponent both step onto the stage at Void Realm 9th stage, but the moment the fight starts, the mood is already wrong. Suning immediately sees that this is not a normal spar, because both sides are striking with the kind of ruthlessness that can leave someone crippled if they slip once. The rival disciple suddenly smashes the source sect fighter in the chest so hard that his chest caves in and he spits blood before blacking out in midair. Even after knocking him out, the attacker keeps hitting him in the air and sends him crashing down soaked in blood, turning a conference match into outright abuse. Ting Yukong explodes in fury below the stage and nearly rushes forward after crushing the armrest of his chair. Xianan Dao stops him at once, forcing him to stay rational because their enemies are clearly hoping someone from the source sect will lose control. Gu Man backs Xianan Dao up and warns that if Ting Yukong wants to vent his anger, he has to do it through a formal challenge, not by giving them an excuse. From the stands, Himinji and Seeing are just as furious, because what they are watching no longer looks like fair competition at all. Suning says nothing, but he can already see where this is headed and knows the source sect will likely face even nastier treatment in the next rounds. He is right, because every time a source sect disciple goes up after that, the other side sends out someone stronger, harsher, and clearly used to real killing. The losses pile up fast, and more source sect disciples come back badly hurt until the whole team sinks deeper into anger and helplessness. Xianan Dao, Ting Yukong, and Gu Man can only watch with clenched jaws, because they know the trap is waiting for them to react the wrong way. Elsewhere in the venue, 2 sect leaders quietly mock the source sect for being too weak to hold such a rich mine in the first place. The thin-eyed leader says that if not for the Canton governor's presence, He would rather have simply joined others to wipe the source sect out. The bearded one sneers that a tiny outsider sect daring to swallow that many resources is just asking for trouble, and watching their disciples get put down already feels satisfying. Then the conversation turns even uglier when the bearded sect leader says the disciples are not enough and Xian himself should be made to fall next. He openly hints that if Xian is defeated or even accidentally killed on the stage, dividing up the green-patterned winter iron mine afterward will become much easier. The sect conference rolls through its first 2 days with disciples sparring, and by the time the third day approaches, the source sect has already been getting battered badly. On the third day, when sect masters and elders are finally meant to fight, the stands are lively everywhere except the source sect section, where too many injured disciples are left sitting below the stage. After the host invites any master who wants to spar to come forward, the first man to step out is Ding Bo of the Half-Autumn sect. Ding Bo wastes no time and publicly calls out Xian, making it obvious he came here to pressure the source sect on purpose. Xian instantly understands the trap, because Ding Bo's faction has been provoking the source sect for its green-patterned winter iron or mine for a long time. Even knowing he is weaker, Xian accepts, because refusing another public challenge would make the source sect look even more helpless. Below the stage, even Canton Governor G thinks Ding Bo is going too far by using a third stage Dao Realm challenge against a second stage opponent, but he still has no intention of protecting the source sect. Seeing worries that Xian may not survive this, and Su Ning quietly promises that if the sect master is truly in danger, he will step in. The duel begins inside a protective barrier, with Ding Bo coming in hard using a glowing knuckle weapon while Xian answers with his chain and spear Dao weapon. To everyone's surprise, Xian holds on despite the realm gap, and Su Ning can tell his Void Realm foundation is unusually solid and that he is close to breaking into the third stage himself. The crowd starts praising Xian for fighting above his level, while the sect leaders hoping to swallow the source sect grow annoyed that Ding Bo still has not crushed him. Embarrassed and growing desperate, Ding Bo suddenly retreats and pulls out a leather pouch. A black shadow flies out of the pouch and enters Ding Bo's mouth, turning his eyes red and wrapping his whole body in black smoke. The arena gasps at the sudden power surge, and Canton Governor G goes cold when he realizes this ugly trick resembles methods from the Red Sea Demon sect. When G presses for details, he learns Ding Bo has a cousin serving as a deacon in the Red Sea Demon sect, confirming that this fight is tied to a terrifying top sect from State Wanqing. Su Ning feels the black shadow's aura is both frightening and strangely familiar, which makes him watch the stage even more sharply. Back on the stage, Ding Bo's boosted attacks slam into Xian nonstop, and black chi starts burning through Xian body the moment it gets inside him. Then Ding Bo condenses the black chi into a killing blow so strong that even Canton Governor G can tell it has reached the power of a fourth stage Dao Realm strike. Ting Yukong, Gu Man, and the others spring up in fury to save their sect master, but they are too late to reach him. Xian sees the killing intent in Ding Bo's eyes and realizes that if this lands, he will be dead or crippled. At the last instant, Su Ning appears in front of Xian and flicks Ding Bo away so hard that the man smashes into the barrier and shatters it. Standing over the fallen attacker, Su Ning coolly calls out the fake spar for what it was, a murder attempt dressed up as a challenge. The whole arena freezes, because even Canton Governor G can tell this stranger's strength is above his own. Ting Yukong and Gu Man finally recognize him as Su Ning, and their shock quickly turns into relief when they realize the source sect now has a terrifying protector. Xian is stunned by his rescuer's identity too, but the moment Su Ning says he is from the Abyss North, that shock turns into fierce joy. Canton Governor G jumps onto the stage and demands to know who this outsider is for daring to disrupt the conference in front of everyone. Su Ning answers without backing down, saying he only stopped someone from using a spar as cover to kill and that he did not even injure Ding Bo. Then Su Ning reveals that he is a guest of the Harmony King Mansion and shows a first-class guest token, instantly changing the tone of the confrontation. G immediately understands that offending a first-class guest tied to the royal family would be political suicide, so his hostility vanishes on the spot. The audience erupts, because in a place as weak as Zuyu Canton, a King Mansion guest already feels distant and powerful, and a first-class one feels even more untouchable. Realizing the governor has stepped back, Su Ning lowers his tone and respectfully explains that he could not watch the source sect master be killed in front of him. To end the matter cleanly, Su Ning says the badly injured source sect will withdraw from the rest of the conference instead of continuing. Canton Governor G agrees at once, and with Su Ning beside them, Xian leads the source sect out under a field of uneasy stares that no one dares turn into action. Back at the source sect, Xian and the elders thank Su Ning from the heart, and they thank Minji and Seeing Tu for coming all this way from the Abyss North. On the way back they have already heard how far Su Ning has risen, and even now the source sect is still half numb from learning that the boy they knew has become a trusted aide to the Harmony King and a 5th stage Dao Realm expert. Xian admits the whole crisis was really about the green-patterned winter iron ore mine, and in gratitude he offers Su Ning half of the mine's output. Su Ning refuses, because he does not want to eat into the source sect's future, and the ore itself is no longer important enough to tempt him. Instead, Su Ning brings up why he really came, Feng Xiu and the old source sect in the Abyss North have been deeply worried because no news has returned for a full year. Xian Undao explains that their long-distance communication depended on a damaged secret treasure powered by rare distant sound stones, and those stones have all been used up. With the crisis finally paused and old ties restored, Xian Undao asks Su Ning, He Minji, and Seeing to stay for a few days so everyone from the Abyss North can sit down and talk properly. A few days after the sect conference, Dingbo sits alone in seclusion, still stewing over the humiliation of failing to hurt Xian Undao and getting shut down in public. What burns him even more is that Su Ning was a guest of the Harmony King Mansion, so even Canton Governor Ji treated that side carefully and Dingbo could not retaliate. Unable to calm down through cultivation, Dingbo pins his hopes on his returning cousin Gu Sanjing to help him recover his face. A disciple suddenly reports that guest Elder Gu has returned, and Dingbo lights up at the perfect timing. Dingbo rushes out and greets Gu Sanjing, the tall, black-clad Red Sea Demon Sect deacon who helped him build this sect in the first place. Before Dingbo can even explain himself, Gu Sanjing coldly asks if he really lost face a few days ago. After hearing the story, Gu Sanjing judges that anyone who could casually suppress Dingbo after he used Red Sea methods is at least peak core cleansing, or even another core transformation expert. Dingbo immediately asks his cousin to punish Su Ning for him, only to get scolded for begging someone stronger to restore his pride. Still, Gu Sanjing reveals he came back to raise Dingbo's sect into a Red Sea Demon Sect vassal, which would make it far stronger and more important in Ziyu Canton. But because Dingbo already made a fool of himself, Gu Sanjing decides he has to win that face back from Su Ning and Source Sect before his bigger plan can work. When Dingbo asks when they leave, Gu Sanjing answers with a hard now, and the two head out at once. Back at Source Sect, Su Ning spends the past few days refining valuable pills, teaching disciples, and catching up with Xian Andao and Ting Yukong. The calm breaks the moment Su Ning finishes a batch and senses a powerful aura outside, strong enough for him to identify it as core transformation realm. Su Ning flashes outside the sect and finds Dingbo standing beside a stranger in black. One look at the emblem on the man's robe makes Su Ning tense up, because he recognizes it from the Red Sea Demon Lord's inheritance. That also explains the familiar aura Dingbo used before, and Su Ning finally realizes Dingbo has ties to the Red Sea Demon sect. Gu Sanjing calmly confirms his identity as a Red Sea Demon sect deacon and sizes Su Ning up as the Harmony King Mansion guest. Xian Andao and the others rush over, and the name Red Sea Demon sect instantly shocks the Source sect side. Using polished words instead of open threats, Gu Sanjing says he simply came to spar with this rare outside master visiting Ziyu Canton. Su Ning sees through the excuse immediately, but with Gu Sanjing openly targeting him, he accepts the challenge instead of backing down. Gu Sanjing orders Dingbo aside, and Dingbo obeys with a smug glance at Xian Andao now that his backing is finally on display. Xian Andao feels guilty for dragging Su Ning into this, but He Minji quietly reminds him that Su Ning is no easy target, and Gu Sanjing also does not dare kill a King Mansion guest. As the fighters separate, Su Ning is actually eager, because this will be his first real clash against a core transformation expert who can use an origin technique. Gu Sanjing plans to win decisively and spread that victory across Ziyu Canton, so Dingbo's sect can rise on his restored prestige. The spar starts with Gu Sanjing unleashing Wine Demon Thousand Blades, turning black fog into buzzing blade shadows that tear towards Su Ning. Su Ning fires Astral Chi to intercept them, but the instant they collide, his attacks are erased and the danger feels completely different from ordinary techniques. Facing it head-on, Su Ning finally understands how terrifying origin power is and how vast the gap becomes once a core transformation expert learns an origin technique. Gu Sanjing sees that reaction and grows more confident, because in his view, a core cleansing cultivator should have no chance against this kind of power. Su Ning answers by opening the wind smoke gourd, filling the field with grey poisonous fog that muffles perception and drags Gu Sanjing into his own battlefield. Gu Sanjing quickly sees through the treasure's effects and keeps swinging his origin blades through the fog, trying to force Su Ning out instead of panicking. Su Ning suddenly closes in from the mist with the Cyan Wolf knife, and the awakened wolf will in the blade smashes through Gu Sanjing's black blades. The strange weapon shocks Gu Sanjing, because it cuts through his origin technique without behaving like any ordinary Dao weapon he knows. With Astral Chi wrapped around the Cyan Wolf knife, Su Ning drives in even harder and forces Gu Sanjing into a direct exchange. As the clash continues, Gu Sanjing is rattled to find that Su Ning's core cleansing foundation is so deep he is not just surviving, he is actually pressing a core transformation master back. The grey poisonous miasma that seemed harmless at first finally starts wearing Gu Sanjing down, quietly tipping the battle further towards Su Ning. When Gu Sanjing has to divert his Dao power to expel the poison, his defense slips for a fatal instant, and Su Ning catches it immediately. Su Ning pushes the Cyan Wolf knife and his cleansed inner core to the limit, then slashes across Gu Sanjing's chest in one clean winning strike. He stops the blade before it goes any deeper, because this was a spar, not a kill, and murdering a Red Sea Demon Sect deacon would bring endless trouble. Shaken by how close he came to dying, Gu Sanjing openly admits that he lost and even realizes Su Ning's talent may rival the very best seeds of his own sect. When the gray fog clears, Xian Andao's side goes from anxious silence to relief, while Ding Bo is left staring in disbelief that even his cousin was beaten. Instead of hiding the truth, Gu Sanjing tells everyone plainly that Su Ning was stronger, which even surprises Su Ning a little. With no tantrum and no excuses, Gu Sanjing simply calls for Ding Bo to leave with him. Su Ning stops the ending from turning cold by tossing Gu Sanjing a healing pill he refined himself as a gesture of goodwill. Gu Sanjing understands the olive branch at once, accepts the pill, and sees even more clearly that Su Ning is not just strong in battle but also a serious alchemist. But the moment he sniffs and breaks open the pill, Gu Sanjing's expression changes sharply as the refinement style feels startlingly familiar. Just as he was about to leave, Gu Sanjing turns back and asks Su Ning what alchemy technique he practices, suspecting a link to the Red Sea Pill Sutra. At the source sect, Gu Sanjing quietly tests a suspicion and asks Su Ning whether he really cultivates the Red Sea Pill Sutra. When Su Ning calmly confirms it, Gu Sanjing's expression tightens and he immediately asks to speak in private. The two leave the others behind, and Ding Bo can only swallow his frustration while Xian Andao realizes the sect's crisis is truly over. In a dense forest outside the sect, Gu Sanjing bluntly demands to know how Su Ning learned the Red Sea Demon sect's core alchemy art. His seriousness is not casual curiosity either, because if the technique was leaked illegally, both the leaker and Su Ning would be in deep trouble with the Red Sea Demon sect. Seeing Gu Sanjing will not let it go, Su Ning stops hiding and says he learned the Red Sea Pill Sutra inside the Red Sea Demon Lord's inheritance mystic realm in Abyss North. That answer jolts Gu Sanjing, because he knows the sect master really did leave inheritances overseas for chosen heirs. He quickly follows up and asks whether Su Ning also received the token that should come with that inheritance. Su Ning pulls out the black bead he got from the Black Bird Guide, the item he was told could open the way into the Red Sea Demon sect. The moment Gu Sanjing inspects it, his whole attitude changes and he carefully returns it with both hands after confirming it is real. He tells Su Ning the truth at last. This black bead is a seed token, the identity badge of the Red Sea Demon sect's most important disciples. Gu Sanjing explains that a seed does not just get resources, but even gains the right to compete for the position of sect master. Su Ning is genuinely caught off guard, because even he did not realize the token in his hand carried that much weight. Sensing a life-changing chance, Gu Sanjing eagerly offers to become Su Ning's guide and personally bring him into the Red Sea Demon sect. Su Ning refuses for now, because Harmony King Mansion already treats him well and he does not want to abandon a stable position for an unknown new battlefield. Gu Sanjing pushes harder and reveals why he is so worked up. The Red Sea Demon Lord plans to choose a successor within 10 years, and only seeds can enter that race. That finally makes Su Ning pause, because this black bead suddenly means he could compete for the leadership of State Wanqing's top sect. For Gu Sanjing, this is not just admiration either, but his best shot at changing his own stalled future by backing someone far stronger than himself. Su Ning raises one last objection, saying he is already a sect master in State Kuching and an honored guest of Harmony King Mansion, so joining another major sect may be awkward. Gu Sanjing answers immediately that this is no real barrier, since even members of the Duan royal family hold disciple status in the Red Sea Demon sect. When he adds that the current 3rd prince and 8th princess are seeds too, Su Ning is visibly more tempted by the idea. Even so, Su Ning still holds back and says he will ask Duan Chaofeng before making any choice. Gu Sanjing knows better than to push too far, so he backs off, gives Su Ning his contact address and state phone link, and promises to escort him whenever he decides. When they return to the source sect, Gu Sanjing shocks everyone by bowing politely to Su Ning and saying he will wait for his news. Ding Bo is so rattled by his cousin's attitude that one threatening glance is enough to make him bow too. Xian Andao rushes over the moment they leave, but Su Ning only smiles and keeps the reason for Gu Sanjing's change to himself. On the road away from the sect, Ding Bo finally complains, and Gu Sanjing coldly tells him Su Ning is their only chance to improve their standing. Gu Sanjing orders him to start helping the source sect instead of provoking it, because winning Su Ning's favor matters more than pride now. Half a month passes at the source sect, and just as Gu Sanjing ordered, Ding Bo returns alone and starts showing Xian Andao open goodwill. Xian Andao understands exactly why the attitude changed, and he feels even more grateful that Su Ning saved the sect and stabilized its future. With their old friends safe and the source sect out of danger, Su Ning, He Minji, and Seeing finally set out to leave Abyss North. After returning to Swallow Heron sect, He Minji and Seeing are formally placed as prospective elders under Su Ning's side. A few days later, Su Ning heads to Harmony King Mansion, keeping his promise to report back after settling sect matters. At the mansion gate, Zhang He warmly greets him, clearly happy to see the comrade he nearly died with overseas. Zhang He proudly says the life and death trip sharpened his martial understanding so much that a breakthrough he once thought decades away may now come within 3 years. On the way to Duan Chaofeng, Zhang He also mentions that Dong Ji has gone back to sea with several high-level experts to hunt the night beast again. He adds one more loaded detail. Zhuo Weisong's father is part of that force too, tying the mission back to Su Ning's old tension which was side. Then Zhang He privately drops the real shocker, telling Su Ning that the current Harmony King may pass the throne to Duan Chaofeng within the next month or two. The reason is simple and huge at once. The old king is nearing a higher breakthrough and may head to the royal Forbidden Land once he hands over power. Both men understand what this means without saying much, because if Duan Chaofeng rises, their own status and the fortunes of their backing forces rise with him. When Su Ning enters the study, he immediately notices that Duan Chaofeng has already advanced to core transformation realm and now carries a heavier, more commanding presence. Duan Chaofeng dismisses the maids at once and starts by asking how Swallow Heron's sect has been developing under his protection. Su Ning reports that the sect is doing well and has become largely self-sufficient, with only the middle layer of disciples still needing time to catch up. Duan Chaofeng is pleased, then reveals that Mo Lan recently sent thanks to the mansion along with a large gift meant specifically for Su Ning. Su Ning checks the ring on the spot and is surprised before anything else by how large the storage space itself is. Inside, he finds piles of pills, spirit herbs, Dao weapons, and artifacts so valuable that the medicine and herbs alone should be worth more than 7 million energy. The sheer scale of it makes the message obvious. Mo Lan is being generous on purpose and trying to settle the old hostility with Su Ning for good. Duan Chaofeng drives the point home by saying Mo Lan already forcibly disbanded Wind Parasol Pavilion and Green Edge Sect, wiping out the lingering enemies around Swallow Heron. A moment later he shifts to the succession matter and confirms that after becoming Harmony King, he intends to put both Su Ning and Zhang He in important positions. Only after hearing all that does Su Ning bring up the real reason he wanted this audience, and asks what Duan Chaofeng knows about Red Sea Demon Sect seeds. Duan Chaofeng explains that seeds are the Red Sea Demon Sect's true core, with only a little over 100 among tens of thousands of disciples, and even royal princes and princesses count themselves lucky to hold that status. Su Ning finally reveals that he already has a seed token and can enter the Red Sea Demon Sect as a seed whenever he wants. The revelation hits hard, because even Duan Chaofeng himself would not qualify for that level of entry without leaning on his status. Su Ning explains how he got the token from the Red Sea Demon Lord's inheritance mystic realm, and how Gu Sanjing urged him to come claim the identity. After hearing the whole thing, Duan Chaofeng no longer hesitates at all and says Su Ning should absolutely take the seed identity. He makes it clear that the benefits go far beyond resources, because the seed's name alone would raise Su Ning's weight across state Wanxing and strengthen Duan Chaofeng's side as well. Then Duan Chaofeng starts explaining why the Red Sea Demon Sect rose so fast, saying its founder built the sect 800 years ago and still outpaced older 1,000-year powers. He ends on the key reveal that ties everything together. One major reason the Red Sea Demon Sect became so dominant is that the Red Sea Demon Lord himself belongs to the Duan royal family. Su Ning and Zhang He are stunned when Duan Chaofeng reveals that the Red Sea Demon Lord is actually the full brother of the Duan royal family's Grandmaster. Duan Chaofeng explains that the Grandmaster's terrifying strength is why the Duan royal family still dominates state Wanxing, which makes this blood tie even more shocking. He says the Red Sea Demon Lord grew up in his brother's shadow, painfully average, while the future Grandmaster was a genius who could create top techniques as a teenager. Sensitive about living under that protection, the Red Sea Demon Lord left the capital, turned to dangerous demonic methods, and gambled on a path his talent could never reach normally. After countless setbacks, he finally carved out his own strength, created the Red Sea Pill Sutra, and founded the Red Sea Demon Sect so his legacy would not disappear. With royal backing, that sect rose unnervingly fast, and Duan Chaofeng says this is exactly why Su Ning should choose it. Duan Chaofeng lays out the deal plainly. If Su Ning enters the Red Sea Demon Sect, the Harmony King Mansion will push him upward, and Su Ning's rise will strengthen Duan Chaofeng in return. Now seeing how much larger that stage is, Su Ning is genuinely tempted because joining the Red Sea Demon Sect could smooth his climb to the top of state Wanxing. Su Ning asks the key question of timing, and Duan Chaofeng tells him to wait until he formally inherits the Harmony King title. Su Ning agrees, and the plan is settled for him to become a future seed disciple of the Red Sea Demon Sect. With the serious talk finished, Duan Chaofeng tells Zhang He to take Su Ning to the villa prepared for him inside the mansion. That new villa says everything about Su Ning's changed status, because the mansion is no longer treating him like an ordinary subordinate. After they leave, Duan Chaofeng exhales at the window and can barely hide his excitement over the talent he just secured. He started by wanting a useful subordinate, but now he believes Su Ning could become a true ally who helps him fight for royal resources and maybe even control the Red Sea Demon Sect one day. On the way through the mansion garden, Zhang He and Su Ning run into a refined young noble who looks strikingly similar to Duan Chaofeng. Zhang He bows and identifies him as third young master Duan Chaoyu, Duan Chaofeng's half-brother. Duan Chaoyu is unexpectedly courteous, even giving Zhang He face and greeting Su Ning with a warm smile after hearing who he is. When he learns Su Ning will be staying in a villa inside the mansion, Duan Chaoyu immediately invites him to meet privately for drinks another time. Su Ning politely dodges the invitation, because he already knows it is safer not to build any personal tie to Duan Chaoyu. After Duan Chaoyu leaves, John he drops the pleasant mask and warns Su Ning that this smiling young master is actually deeply scheming. John he bluntly hints that if Duan Chaofeng were not the legitimate son, the heir might not have been decided so easily at all. Still, John he says the situation should settle soon, because once Duan Chaofeng officially becomes Harmony King in a month or two, Duan Chaoyu will have to leave the mansion. But elsewhere, Duan Chaoyu's smile vanishes, and his face turns dark the moment he is out of Su Ning's sight. He broods over how second brother keeps drawing talented people to his side, while he is still treated like the bastard son who gets less for all his ability. Duan Chaoyu bitterly admits that legitimacy has beaten talent again, but the way he says it makes clear he still has no intention of giving up the throne. He tells himself that even if the heir position has been handed to Duan Chaofeng, that does not mean his brother will keep it for long. Soon after, Duan Chaoyu enters a luxurious restaurant in the city and deliberately leaves his guards outside before going into a private room alone. Waiting inside is Zhuo Xingyun, the Harmony King's powerful confidant and the father of Zhuo Weisong. Duan Chaoyu casually mentions Su Ning, and the name alone makes a cold light flash in Zhuo Xingyun's eyes. Zhuo Xingyun still has not accepted that his son disappeared overseas while Su Ning returned alive, especially after hearing the two men had clashed before the voyage. He had only paused that resentment because the Harmony King ordered him out to sea to capture the Night Beast, and he still hoped to find some trace of Zhuo Weisong there. But Duan Chaoyu's earlier message changed everything, because he hinted that the next Harmony King might be him instead of Duan Chaofeng. That promise hit Zhuo Xingyun right where he was vulnerable, because if Duan Chaofeng inherited smoothly, Zhuo Xingyun knew his own influence in the mansion would slowly fade. His old bond with Duan Chaoyu runs deep too, because he personally taught the young master martial arts for more than a decade. So Zhuo Xingyun secretly abandoned the sea mission and slipped back, hoping to learn what backing gave Duan Chaoyu this much confidence. Now Duan Chaoyu deliberately stirs the wound again, suggesting that Su Ning may even be tied to Zhuo Weisong's death. Then he finally says it openly. He called Zhuo Xingyun back to help him seize the Harmony King position. Zhuo Xingyun asks what role he would play, but Duan Chaoyu does not answer yet and instead coldly asks whether he can actually be trusted. Realizing he pushed too fast, Zhuo Xingyun apologizes and hurriedly declares that he is willing to do anything for Duan Chaoyu. Duan Chaoyu starts measuring just how far that loyalty goes by asking whether sacrificing some of the mansion's people and resources would be acceptable if it wins him the throne. Zhuo Xingyun answers that those losses would be worth it, which already means he is stepping over the line against the current Harmony King. Duan Chaoyu presses harder and asks the real question outright. If killing Duan Chaofeng is necessary, will Zhuo Xingyun still support him? This time Zhuo Xingyun hesitates hard, because agreeing would mean open treason, but he also realizes refusing may put him in danger with both brothers. In the end he places his bet and says he will obey Duan Chaoyu's wishes. Only after hearing that pledge does Duan Chaoyu decide to reveal the force standing behind him. When Duan Chaoyu says his backing is the hidden sect, Zhuo Xingyun is so shocked that wine spills across his clothes. The truth is far worse than he expected, because the hidden sect is a rebel power the imperial court wants destroyed. Duan Chaoyu calmly explains the plan anyway. Once his father leaves state Kuching for the capital, he will work with the hidden sect to move against Duan Chaofeng. That is the moment Zhuo Xingyun truly panics, because he realizes Duan Chaoyu's earlier question about killing his brother was never a test at all. He immediately tries to back out, saying this is too serious and that he will leave now without spreading the secret. Duan Chaoyu drops all pretense and sharply demands whether Zhuo Xingyun is really trying to go back on his word. Zhuo Xingyun still refuses and reaches the doorway, determined to walk away even if it earns Duan Chaoyu's hatred. Then two hidden experts suddenly appear on either side of the door, and Zhuo Xingyun is horrified to realize they are both in the same 7th Dao realm as him. Forced back into the room, Zhuo Xingyun finally understands he walked into a trap the moment he came here. One of the men activates a transparent recording treasure, and the room fills with the sounds and images of Zhuo Xingyun's own treasonous answers. Seeing his own words preserved as evidence, Zhuo Xingyun goes pale because now he has no clean way left to escape. Duan Chaoyu steps close, pats his shoulder, and tells him bluntly that once he made his choice, there was no turning back. To keep him from breaking completely, Duan Chaoyu claims the hidden sect is far stronger and more deeply embedded than anyone realizes, even inside the Duan royal family itself. He promises that once they seize the Harmony King position, those hidden royal allies will become a huge advantage for them. With blackmail, murder, and rebellion all tangled around him, Zhuo Xingyun can only tremble and let out a defeated sigh. At Harmony King Mansion, Su Ning finally gathers more than enough energy to break into the core transformation realm, thanks to huge resources from Mo Lan and another generous batch from Duan Chaofeng. He orders everyone not to disturb him, opens his martial arts panel, and commits without hesitation to spending 15 million energy on the breakthrough he has been waiting for. The breakthrough starts inside his body as his repeatedly cleansed inner core shines white, surges with spiritual energy, and grows irregular golden lines across its surface. When the power stabilizes, Su Ning realizes his foundation has grown even deeper, and he can now crush someone like Gu Sanjing with his bare hands instead of relying on old weapons. He also understands the real meaning of those golden lines. They are the foundation that will let him sense origin power and aimed for Dao Realm's 7th stage in the future. The breakthrough leaves Su Ning excited for one reason above all else. Now that he is in core transformation, he can finally learn a true origin technique. He judges that once he learns one, he should be able to stand against an elementary origin realm master instead of being trapped below the 6th stage ceiling. Even so, Su Ning stays practical and admits that high-level Dao battles will soon outgrow helpers like the Wind Smoke Gourd and Cyan Wolf Knife, so a first-rate treasure will matter more and more. He figures Duan Chaofeng cannot hand over that kind of treasure yet, but if the prince secures the throne or Su Ning enters the core Sea Demon sect as a seed disciple, better weapons should eventually become possible. For now, he heads straight to Duan Chaofeng's study to claim the promise of an origin technique. Duan Chaofeng welcomes him in a relaxed mood, clearly enjoying the calm before his expected rise to Harmony King. When Su Ning says he came to learn an origin technique, Duan Chaofeng freezes and realizes what that means. Su Ning confirms that he just advanced to core transformation, and Duan Chaofeng can only stare, half stunned and half numb after being shocked by him too many times already. The prince finally asks how Su Ning keeps doing this, and Su Ning gives the same slippery answer as always. The conditions were right, and luck helped. Duan Chaofeng does not get a real explanation, but the exchange only makes him value Su Ning even more as a once-in-an-era talent with terrifying speed and no weakness in his foundation. Asked which origin technique he wants, Su Ning makes the safest choice and says he will learn the same one Duan Chaofeng practices. Duan Chaofeng names the technique Void Walk Beast Phantom and explains that it works by refining powerful demon beast blood, so the better the bloodline, the stronger the technique becomes. He sweetens the offer by revealing that Dong Ji brought back Night Beast blood from the earlier battle, and he is willing to give Su Ning a drop to push the technique far beyond the ordinary. Su Ning is immediately satisfied, and the two of them go together to the mansion treasury to retrieve both the memory crystal and the Night Beast blood. Back in his villa an hour later, Su Ning activates the memory crystal and receives the full method of Void Walk Beast Phantom in his mind. The martial arts panel tells him mastering this origin technique will cost 10 million energy at once, and Su Ning can only frown because he has just 3 million left after the breakthrough. He accepts the price as reasonable for a true origin technique, but for the moment he has to put the Void Walk Beast Phantom aside. Over the next month, Su Ning stays in the mansion, while his name spreads across State Guqing as the trusted aide of the future Harmony King. Big sects and powerful families begin reaching out through mansion connections, eager to make friends with the man they think will soon become a major figure. Su Ning does not mind the flood of visitors, because every new connection can help the Swallow Heron sect later. Their gifts slowly add up, but after a whole month he still gathers only 4 million energy, leaving him 3 million short of the technique he wants badly. Tired of waiting, Su Ning goes to Zhang He and asks to borrow enough medicinal pills to close the final gap. Zhang He hands the pills over without much suspicion, assuming Su Ning wants them for the Swallow Heron sect's growth rather than for his own instant cultivation. Once the full 10 million energy is ready, Su Ning leaves the mansion for a remote mountain so he can test the origin technique without wrecking half the estate. Before starting, he reviews how Void Walk Beast Phantom works. It refines up to 3 demon beast bloodlines and lets the user imitate part of their bloodline power through an origin technique. Su Ning has already chosen his 3 sources: the Night Beast for peak quality, Grey's Void Beast blood, and Cyan's blood Cyan Wolf blood. He opens the panel one more time and finally spends the 10 million energy to master Void Walk Beast Phantom in full. In just a few breaths, the entire origin technique locks into place, and Su Ning gets his first real feel for what it means to imitate origin power while still below the 7th stage. He starts the refinement with Grey's Void Beast blood, vaporizing the drop and memorizing the way that bloodline power circulates through the technique. Standing atop the mountain, Su Ning unleashes the first Beast Phantom and calls out the Void Beast's power for himself. The space in front of him warps into void distortion and pulverizes a mass of giant rocks, proving that he can now use one of Grey's signature bloodline abilities as a human cultivator. Su Ning even notes with a bit of amusement that his version currently hits harder than Grey's, simply because his realm and imitation of origin power are stronger. Next he refines Cyan's blood and prepares to see what the blood Cyan Wolf leaves behind inside the technique. This time a blood-colored wolf phantom rises behind him, and a savage transparent wolf head tears forward with crushing bite force. The wolf fangs rip the target apart, and Su Ning quickly realizes the real danger is not just the damage, but the terrifying murderous aura that can shake an enemy's will in actual combat. For the Night Beast's bloodline, Su Ning changes tactics and captures a mid-level Dao Realm Demon Beast first, because this last ability attacks the mind instead of the body. When he activates the Night Beast Phantom, darkness swallows the creature's senses at once, and leaves it standing there like a puppet with its perception completely cut off. Su Ning names the ability Night Weaver and immediately sees how deadly it is. With his foundation, blinding a Dao Realm opponent for even a moment could be enough to kill them outright. That makes him compare Night Weaver to an upgraded Wind Smoke Gourd, because instead of merely cutting awareness from the surroundings, this darkness devours perception itself. After feeling all 3 abilities in action, Su Ning finally understands why Duan Chaofeng chose this origin technique. It is versatile, lethal, and brutally hard to cultivate well. Using his own shortcut makes the difference obvious to him, and he judges that someone with Duan Xiaofeng's talent would need decades just to reach a much rougher version of what Su Ning mastered today. Once the test is over, Su Ning dismisses the terrified demon beast, and the former mountain overlord bolts away so badly shaken that it abandons the range entirely. With the new origin technique in hand, Su Ning concludes that he can now fight, or even beat an elementary origin realm master, but he still lacks the first-rate treasure that would make him truly dangerous at that level. He checks his martial arts panel, sees Void Walk Beast Phantom fully added and his energy drained to zero, and decides his next goal will be advancing the Corsi Pills Sutra. After one more round of testing to confirm the technique, Su Ning leaves the mountain and heads back toward Harmony King Mansion with his strength transformed again. In the Harmony King's study, Duan Yuni gathers his 5 sons, and the tense room already tells them this meeting is about succession. Duan Yuni calmly reveals that he has reached the limit of the 8th Dao Realm stage, plans to enter the Royal Forbidden Land, and will hand the Harmony King title to Duan Xiaofeng. He follows that with a blunt order: once the new king ascends, the other young masters must leave the mansion and return to their own fiefs within 10 days. Duan Yuni warns them to keep their brotherhood intact after the transfer of power and pointedly tells Duan Xiaofeng to take care of his younger brothers. That warning hits Duan Xiaoyu hard, because he is secretly planning to kill his own brother later. Then Duan Yuni singles Xiaoyu out, praises his talent, and tells him to cut off outside distractions and focus only on martial cultivation. He even says Xiaofeng will support him if needed, and Duan Xiaoyu answers quickly without daring to meet his father's eyes. After dismissing the others, Duan Yuni keeps Duan Xiaofeng behind and reminds him that becoming Harmony King means carrying real burdens, not just rank and respect. When Duan Yuni asks what he would do if he clashed with his brothers, Xiaofeng gives the proper answer that an elder brother should yield for the sake of family harmony. Duan Yuni lets that answer pass, then abruptly turns to another key matter and asks about the talented outsider Xiaofeng recommended to him, Su Ning. After hearing that Su Ning is likely training in the mansion, Duan Yuni decides to meet him personally and judge whether he can become Xiaofeng's future ally. Duan Xiaofeng personally goes to find Su Ning, who has only just returned from the mountains, and tells him the Harmony King wants to see him right away. Even though he is about to face the strongest man in State Guqing, Su Ning stays steady and follows Duan Xiaofeng to the study. Inside the study, Duan Yuni greets Su Ning with unexpected warmth and has him sit, treating him more kindly than he treated his own sons. Duan Yuni openly praises Su Ning's rise from Abyss North and says bluntly that after joining the Corsi Demon sect, he hopes Su Ning will continue supporting Duan Xiaofeng. Su Ning answers without hedging that he and Duan Xiaofeng are friends, and he truly intends to repay the help he has received. Then Duan Yuni asks about the Void Walk Beast Phantom, and Su Ning casually drops a shocking answer: he has already mastered it. Even Duan Yuni is rattled by that speed, realizing Su Ning's talent may exceed what even royal grandmasters once showed. When Duan Yuni asks what he needs, Su Ning does not play polite and directly says he is short of a first-rate treasure. Duan Yuni laughs and immediately produces a silver-white first-rate secret treasure, the Flowing Cloud Piercer, offering it to Su Ning if it suits him. Su Ning accepts the gift with real excitement, immediately understanding that the old king is spending heavily to secure him as Duan Xiaofeng's ally. Duan Yuni tells Su Ning to study the treasure well and hopes he will stand out in the Corsi Demon Sex Seed competition. The next day, the succession news becomes public, shaking State Guqing as Duan Xiaofeng's inheritance and the other prince's departure are officially set in motion. But before the inheritance ceremony can happen, Duan Yuni suddenly leaves for the imperial capital, a move that confuses Duan Xiaofeng but cannot be stopped. Back at his villa, Su Ning studies the Flowing Cloud Piercer and confirms that its power rises with Dao Realm force, but that is only the beginning of what it can do. Its first real trick is spatial concealment, letting the thrown weapon slip into the void and reappear near the target for a nasty hidden strike. Its second trick is even deadlier, because it can store Su Ning's Dao power and detonate that force the instant it hits. Putting those abilities together with his aura concealment ring, Su Ning realizes he can now kill like a top-tier assassin. That only makes the gift feel heavier, and Su Ning admits to himself that he now owes Duan Yuni a favor for this calculated act of goodwill. His reflection is cut short when Zhang He hurries in and, jokes aside, tells Su Ning they need to go receive an important guest outside the city. Zhang He explains that Duan Xiaofeng's succession ceremony is tomorrow, delegates from across the state are arriving, and the late guests they must escort are from the old allied Shock sect. Because the Shock sect still matters to the mansion, Su Ning agrees to go with Zhang He as one of Duan Xiaofeng's main representatives. More than 10 miles outside the city, Su Ning and Zhang He wait with an armored mansion escort to show proper respect when the guests land. Soon a flock of giant birds appears on the horizon and descends with the Shock sect delegation riding on their backs. The leader turns out to be Shock sect Master Gongwei, and Zhang He greets him with the easy politeness of long-standing political allies. When Gongwei hears the quiet young man beside Zhang He is Su Ning, his interest jumps immediately because Su Ning's name has already spread. The mansion sends over a large carriage, and Su Ning, Zhang He, Gongwei, and 2 younger disciples ride together toward the city. Inside the carriage, Zhang He asks about the 2 disciples, and Gongwei proudly says they are the Shock sect's best hope of someday lifting the sect back to glory. Su Ning sizes them up and notes that both are only in their 30s yet already in the second Dao realm stage, which makes them genuinely rare talents. Prompted by their master, Gao Jian and Chu Shan stand and formally greet Su Ning and Zhang He, trying to act composed. But the moment Gao Jian's eyes meet his, Su Ning feels a sudden instinctive discomfort, a sharp warning from his heightened perception that something is wrong. Su Ning hides his suspicion, casually praises Gao Jian's stable aura, and draws him into a closer exchange to test that feeling. Gao Jian finally answers with forced politeness, and that strained reaction only makes Su Ning more certain the problem is real. Without warning, Su Ning sends Dao power into Gao Jian's body to probe him on the spot, and in the very next instant his face changes because the suspicion is confirmed. As the group traveled back, Su Ning suddenly moved on Gao Jian, and Gong Wei instinctively shielded his prized disciple in confusion. Su Ning did not argue much, he just stared at Gao Jian and demanded to know who he really was. Instead of denying it, Gao Jian laughed, and praised Su Ning for sensing through his disguise despite only being in core transformation. Gao Jian's aura surged, his handsome face warped away, and the fake disciple revealed himself as a feminine-looking man in the elementary origin realm. The shock hit hard when Gong Wei realized the imposter was stronger than both of them, and he demanded to know what had happened to the real Gao Jian. The infiltrator decided there was no need to hide anymore and blasted everyone with one violent wave, tearing apart the carriage line and throwing the escort into chaos. When the infiltrator looked over, Su Ning was still standing there unharmed, watching him with a calm, almost challenging stare. Annoyed by that calm defiance, the infiltrator dropped a pure white sword apparition straight at Su Ning to kill him in one strike. Su Ning answered with the Void Beast Phantom, twisting the space above him until the white sword shattered before it could touch him. That clean counter wiped the smug look off the infiltrator's face, and he finally realized Su Ning was a real threat. Su Ning followed with Night Weaver, and the Night Beast Phantom plunged the man's senses into total darkness. The infiltrator tried to force his way out with his last bit of origin power, but Su Ning's flowing cloud piercer was already there. The flowing cloud piercer punched through his head and exploded, ending the elementary origin realm assassin on the spot. Even Su Ning was briefly stunned by how easily he had killed someone a realm above him. For everyone else, the sight was even more overwhelming, because they had just watched a core transformation cultivator kill an elementary origin master in seconds. Su Ning searched the corpse and found an aura concealment ring, which told him the dead infiltrator was from the hidden sect. When Su Ning explained that a hidden sect spy had disguised himself as a shock sect disciple, Zhang He instantly grasped how dangerous that was for Duan Chaofeng. Gong Wei turned cold with fear, because if that fake disciple had reached the prince, the shock sect would have been dragged into ruin with him. Zhang He rushed everyone toward the Harmony King mansion, while Su Ning quietly regretted killing the spy too fast to interrogate him. In the study, Duan Chaofeng heard the whole report, and his good mood vanished as soon as he realized the hidden sect might already be circling him. Zhang He warned that if one hidden sect spy could enter through a visiting sect, others might already be hiding among the guests who came for the inheritance ceremony. Duan Chaofeng agreed they had to dig out every hidden danger and ordered the matter pushed through both the mansion and the imperial court. Gong Wei knelt to admit his negligence, but Duan Chaofeng spared him because no normal Dao Realm's 7th stage guard would have seen through that infiltrator. When Duan Chaofeng looked at Su Ning, even his praise caught for a moment, because this was already the second time Su Ning had saved him, and this time he had done it by killing above his realm again. Elsewhere in the city, the story shifted underground, where Xingyun entered a sealed chamber to report to the hidden sect leader Louis. Xingyun made it clear with his attitude that he still hated working with the hidden sect, even though they had trapped him and forced him into this conspiracy. The narration laid out Xingyun's role. As a trusted guest of the mansion, he had been feeding inside knowledge to help assassinate Duan Chaofeng and prepare the way for Duan Chaoyu. Xingyun reported that their spy inside the shock sect had been exposed, and Lu Yi's composure immediately tightened. Louis found that hard to accept, because their infiltrators all used aura concealment rings and should not have been discovered so easily. Since Xingyun still did not know the exact cause, he could only warn that the mansion and the imperial court would now start digging hard for hidden sect members. After thinking it through, Louis scrapped the original ceremony attack and decided they could not risk a big public strike anymore. Xingyun bristled at the thought of abandoning everything, because without Duan Chaofeng's death, all the dirty work he had been forced into would buy him nothing. Louis corrected him at once. They were not retreating, they were switching to a tighter plan that still ended with Duan Chaofeng dead and Duan Chaoyu taking the throne. His new idea was simple and vicious: create an attack outside the mansion, lure away the strong guards, and send the real killers in through the gap. Xingyun agreed, and Louis ordered him to finish the internal map, prepare escape paths, and leave the city before the strike so his cover would survive. Xingyun said he would go contact third young master Duan Chaoyu, who was already outside the city waiting for the assassination result. Late that night, the plan started moving when an explosion near the Harmony King mansion jolted Su Ning out of meditation. The moment he sensed the aura of an elementary origin realm attacker, Su Ning guessed the hidden sect had decided to strike the mansion directly. Instead of chasing the noise, Suning chose the most important move first and rushed to Duan Chaofeng's side. He found Duan Chaofeng already standing in a guarded courtyard with 2 elementary origin experts and a ring of loyal Dao realm guards around him. Seeing Suning made Duan Chaofeng visibly calmer, because by now Suning was the one man there he trusted to kill above his realm. Duan Chaofeng explained that 3 mansion experts had already gone to stop the attackers, and for the moment he planned to stay put and wait for more information. The clash on the mansion's edge raged for a while, then the noise weakened and the hostile auras began to pull away into the night. When Zhang He arrived from the front line, he reported that 2 hidden sect elementary origin masters had attacked and then fled, drawing the mansion's 3 defenders after them. Duan Chaofeng took that as a good sign and almost dismissed everyone, thinking the hidden sect had panicked and exposed itself badly. Suning stopped him and warned that the first attack might only be bait, so the guards should stay in place a little longer. Duan Chaofeng trusted that instinct and chose to wait, even though he privately doubted the hidden sect had sent more than 3 high-level fighters. Time dragged on until one old guest quietly said Suning was probably being overcautious and suggested dispersing the guards after all. Before that order could be given, a sharp whistling sound cut through the night, and a dark arrow came straight for Duan Chaofeng. The ambush begins without warning, and Suning reacts first by dragging Duan Chaofeng behind him to shield the prince from a dark arrow. The arrow explodes in midair into thick smoke, and Suning immediately realizes it works like the wind smoke-gored fog and can cut off normal perception. Knowing he can still sense through it, Suning seizes Duan Chaofeng's arm and tries to lead him out before the hidden attackers close in. 2 grey-robed elementary origin realm killers burst out at the edge of the smoke, confirming that the earlier attack was just bait for a closer strike. Suning shoves Duan Chaofeng away to safety and brings out the flowing cloud piercer to meet both assassins head-on. After one exchange, Suning senses the real danger. 3 more hidden sect experts are still inside the smoke, and one of them feels much stronger than the rest. Seeing the mansion side already getting overwhelmed, Suning decides he has to finish these 2 immediately. He pours Dao power into the flowing cloud piercer, and the weapon's explosive force tears through the assassin's origin techniques. Suning follows with Void Walk Beast Phantom and Void Distortion, blasting both men open through the chest in one brutal counter. When they try to flee, Suning throws the flowing cloud piercer and kills both on the spot. Instead of letting the fog hide the battlefield any longer, Suning uses his wind smoke gourd to suck the smoke away and force the real fight into the open. With the smoke gone, Suning sees the mansion in ruins and watches a hidden sect peak elementary origin realm expert kill the old guest of the mansion with a feather through the heart. That killer is Louis, and when he notices Suning standing over the bodies of 2 of his men, his killing intent shifts straight toward him. Suning steps up and tells the surviving mansion expert to take Duan Chaofeng away, choosing to hold off Louis and the other attackers alone. Louis orders his 2 subordinates to chase the prince, but Suning instantly interrupts the pursuit with a void hidden throw. The flowing cloud piercer reappears from space and explodes through one pursuer's chest, dropping him in a single strike. Suning rushes the second pursuer too, but Louis saves that man with a dangerous feather attack and personally blocks Suning's path. Suning calls out the hidden sect for daring to assassinate royal blood, but Louis ignores the accusation and studies him like a rare threat. Instead of answering, Louis praises Suning's talent and openly tries to recruit him into the hidden sect with rank and resources. Suning answers with force, summoning the blood cyan wolf phantom and charging Louis under the cover of wolf fangs and the powered flowing cloud piercer. Louis counters with a cyan-headed bird phantom, and their clash detonates so hard that the surrounding ruins are blasted into dust. The guards realize they would only get in Suning's way and pull the wounded back, leaving the courtyard to a duel between monsters. As they test each other, Suning judges that Louis has an absurdly strong foundation for his realm and is far from an ordinary elementary origin expert. Louis, meanwhile, recognizes the flowing cloud piercer as Duan Yun's treasured weapon and grows openly greedy. Suning tries the flowing cloud piercer's spatial strike, but Louis senses it and dodges cleanly, showing terrifying awareness of space. So Suning brings out his strongest control move, summoning the Night Beast Phantom and casting Night Weaver to drown Louis's senses in darkness. Louis knows a few breaths trapped like this is enough to die, so in desperation he triggers a hidden power to break the darkness before Suning's killing throw lands. Suning's eyes widen when Louis fully changes in front of him, his body turning scaled and bird-like as real green wings spread from his back. Suning instantly realizes Louis now reeks of demon beast aura, and the pressure coming off him jumps to something close to Dao Realm 8th stage. Louis wastes no time, unleashing a storm of green feathers that could shred an ordinary core transformation expert instantly. Suning whips the flowing cloud piercer into a defensive membrane and barely blocks the barrage. Louis dives straight through the opening and meets Suning blade to blade, forcing him back with a frightening mix of Dao power and bloodline strength. After seeing Suning still endure that, Louis pulls back and uses Meteor Jade Feather to lock him inside a glowing jade prison. Suning tries to break out with the flowing cloud piercer, but the membrane swallows the impact instead of shattering. Louis cuts his own palm and feeds jade blood into the prison, making it shrink and numb Suning's body from the outside in. With Suning nearly unable to move, Louis gathers the blood-powered sword and goes in for the finishing thrust. At the last second, a crushing pressure drops from above and slams Louis flat into the ground before his sword can land. The man who appears is Duan Yunyi himself, and one casual tap to Louis's head knocks the hidden sect backbone unconscious. Su Ning is stunned that Duan Yunyi is here at all, and Duan Yunyi admits he never went to the imperial capital in the first place. Duan Yunyi explains that his departure was bait to lure the hidden sect into exposing themselves, and he had been watching the whole time for an even bigger fish. He also praises Su Ning for holding off an enemy whose transformed strength was already comparable to Dao Realm 8th stage. But Duan Yunyi says the real price of the plan was Duan Chaoyu, because the prince's collusion with the hidden sect has now been exposed beyond denial. After revealing that Duan Chaoyu tried to have his own brother killed, Duan Yunyi orders Su Ning to go help Duan Chaofeng while he handles the rest himself. Su Ning heads off to rescue Duan Chaofeng, now fully aware that Duan Chaoyu's fate is likely finished after this betrayal. The next day at Duan Chaoyu's fief, Duan Chaoyu paces anxiously with Xingyun because no word has come back from the mansion attack. Xingyun tries to calm him by saying 7 elementary origin realm experts should not be so easy to wipe out, but inside he is just as uneasy. Because Louis always sends word quickly after acting, Xingyun quietly decides that if silence continues much longer, he will abandon everything and flee overseas. He never gets the chance, because blood suddenly splashes into Xingyun's teacup and his head falls before either man can react. Duan Chaoyu panics and calls for assassins, only to look up and find his own father, Duan Yunyi, standing there coldly. One look is enough for Duan Chaoyu to understand everything, and he drops to his knees begging his father to spare his life. Duan Yunyi says he warned him that brothers should support each other, but Duan Chaoyu still chose to betray that bond. Ignoring the pleas, Duan Yunyi binds Duan Chaoyu with a rope Dao weapon and declares they are going to the imperial capital to settle this. News explodes across State Kuching. Duan Chaofeng, the man about to inherit the Harmony King title, was ambushed by the hidden sect inside his own mansion. The shock only grows because Duan Chaofeng survives unharmed, while the hidden sect attackers are captured or killed, showing outsiders just how hard the Duan royal family hits back. But the ugliest part stays buried. Duan Chaoyu's secret collusion with the hidden sect and his plot to murder his own brother are covered up to protect the Harmony King mansion and the royal family. Only the mansion's inner circle and a handful of top figures in the imperial capital know the truth behind the ambush. Once the turmoil settles, the imperial capital sends officials to personally oversee Duan Chaofeng's inheritance ceremony, and Duan Yunyi comes to witness it too. From that day on, Duan Chaofeng officially becomes the new Harmony King of State Kuching. A few days later, Duan Yunyi leaves for the imperial capital for real this time, aiming to enter the royal forbidden land and break through beyond Dao Realm 8th stage. With Duan Yunyi gone, the mansion loses its top shield, so the imperial court sends another Dao Realm 8th stage expert to guard the newly enthroned Harmony King. Su Ning also cashes in on the aftermath, because he not only saved Duan Chaofeng that day, he captured both the pursuing attacker and the 2 hidden sect bait operatives alive. As his reward, everything taken from the defeated enemies goes to Su Ning except Louis, who is handed over to the imperial court. Dao weapons, pills, spiritual herbs, and strange artifacts pile up into a windfall worth nearly 20 million energy. Even after repaying Zhang He for borrowed resources, Su Ning still keeps 21 million energy in hand. That leaves Su Ning only 9 million energy short of elementary origin, the Dao realm watershed that would push his strength up again. Not long after Duan Yunyi departs, Su Ning prepares to leave too and follow the old arrangement to join the Core Sea Demon sect as a seed. At the send-off, Duan Chaofeng personally sees Su Ning out, a sign of how much these two friends now trust each other after surviving several life and death crises together. Su Ning even changes his form of address and answers with formal respect, calling him Harmony King instead of by name. Duan Chaofeng tells him plainly that if trouble comes in the Core Sea Demon sect, Su Ning can use the Harmony King mansion's name and come back for help anytime. Su Ning turns to Zhang He next and wishes for his injured ally to recover and break through to Dao Realm's 7th stage before they meet again. Zhang He can only smile and say he will do his best. Su Ning leaves without lingering, riding a peak mid-level Dao Realm flying demon beast gifted by Duan Chaofeng and heading into the distant sky. Since Su Ning cannot truly fly on his own yet, the demon beast makes his journey much faster. Back at the mansion gate, Duan Chaofeng watches the empty horizon for a long moment before finally turning back with Zhang He. On the road, Su Ning does not ask Gu Sanjing to come fetch him as planned, because he intends to handle a stop in the middle of the journey himself. He first returns to the Swallow Heron sect, stays briefly, and makes his own arrangements before setting out again. When Su Ning finally reaches State Fengling and finds Gu Sanjing is openly delighted because bringing a seed into the sect means a reward for him too. Gu Sanjing drops all other work on the spot and personally rushes with Su Ning toward the Core Sea Demon sect. The Core Sea Demon sect turns out to be very close to the imperial capital, which makes perfect sense once Su Ning remembers its founder's connection to the Duan royal family. At last Gu Sanjing points ahead and tells Su Ning they have arrived. From above, Su Ning sees the Core Sea Demon sect sitting on an inland island ringed by lakes. When Su Ning asks if they can really fly straight in on a demon beast, Gu Sanjing casually says yes, because this sect keeps its internal rules unusually loose. Gu Sanjing explains that the Corsi demon sect mostly provides resources and teaching, while many disciples spend long stretches wandering outside the island. That makes Suning wonder why disciples would enjoy so much and give nothing back. But Gu Sanjing says the sect was never built for that kind of control in the first place. Even so, Suning presses the practical question of where such a huge sect gets its resources, and Gu Sanjing says part comes from martial resource trade while the top elders handle the rest. Once they fly deeper in, Suning looks down and is honestly surprised, because the so-called demon sect does not look like a fortress at all. He spots not just martial artists but plenty of ordinary people, making the island feel more like a giant settlement than a sect. Gu Sanjing explains the reason. Disciples are free to wander, and many bring their wives, children, and relatives to settle here, so most of the island's 200,000 residents are family rather than active disciples. Instead of being put off, Suning smiles, because the place's ordinary village atmosphere feels unexpectedly familiar to someone who came from that kind of life. He even thinks that if he reaches the higher Dao realms someday, his own family could probably live comfortably in a place like this. Gu Sanjing brings Suning down into one of the villages and says they need to find Elder Wei, the man responsible for seed entry arrangements. The village is full of busy men, women, old people, and children, and none of them care much about the flying demon beast landing nearby, which tells Suning this site is normal here. After telling the demon beast to wait, Gu Sanjing leads Suning to a plain farmhouse and quietly warns him that Elder Wei is also the head of the Wei family. Inside, Suning finds Elder Wei looking nothing like a sect powerhouse, just an old farmer in a hat turning ordinary vegetable soil with a hoe. Gu Sanjing bows respectfully, but Elder Wei does not even recognize him at first, because a small external deacon is barely a blip in a sect this large. Once Gu Sanjing explains that he has brought in a seed with a token, Elder Wei finally pays real attention. Suning steps forward, bows, and hands over the black bead token he got from the Corsi demon lord's inheritance in the Abyss North. Elder Wei confirms the token is genuine, notes that it came from outside the sect, and pockets it instead of giving it back. When Suning admits he came from the Abyss North, Elder Wei gives him a plain black iron token in exchange. Seeing no marks on it, Suning learns that this new token is his pass to the Corsi Tower at the center of the island. Elder Wei tells him the real entry test is simple: go into the Corsi Tower and climb as high as he can, because the higher he gets, the better he will be assessed. Then Elder Wei spells out what seed status really means. In the next 3 to 10 years, one of these seeds is expected to become the sect's next master or elder. He warns Suning not to back down from competing with the other seeds just because his current round looks lower. Suning takes the warning calmly, because with enough energy he has never thought of realm growth as the hard part. Before sending them off, Elder Wei turns to Gu Sanjing and rewards him on the spot with promotion from external deacon to internal deacon. For Gu Sanjing, this is exactly the payoff he hoped for, because higher status on the island means better resources and more chances going forward. Elder Wei ends the meeting with a wave and goes right back to farming, as if arranging a seed's future were just another small task in his day. Outside, an elated Gu Sanjing starts calling Suning junior brother and makes it clear he plans to stay close now that Suning has already changed his fortunes. He promises to arrange Suning's residence and handle the boring entry details, telling him to focus on the Corsi Tower first. Suning accepts the help, knowing he is brand new here and will need someone familiar with the island. As Gu Sanjing trails after Suning's future, he cannot help remembering that this whole lucky connection began because his cousin Ding Bo blundered into conflict with the Source sect. Suning heads alone toward the Corsi Tower on a flying demon beast while Gu Sanjing stays behind to handle the rest. On the way, Suning passes other high-level Dao realm experts and flying beasts, a quick reminder that this relaxed-looking sect still hides serious power. Following the directions, Suning finally spots the Corsi Tower standing on its own island inside the bigger island. From above he counts 12 floors, and the whole place feels isolated and off-limits compared to the rest of the sect. Even though people and beasts move around the outer lake, nobody goes near the tower island, which makes its special status obvious. For safety, Suning leaves his mount at the lakeside and crosses the water by himself. His arrival draws attention right away, and nearby onlookers realize another seed has come to test the Corsi Tower. People start guessing how far he will climb, and most of them doubt a Dao Realm 6th stage newcomer can get past the 6th floor. Suning reaches the island and immediately notices something odd. There are no elders, disciples, or guards waiting at the Corsi Tower at all. Before he can figure that out, the light above him goes dark under a huge shadow. A giant black bird circles overhead and lands in front of him, and Suning is struck by a sudden sense that he has seen something like it before. Then it clicks for him. This bird resembles the tiny black bird he met in the Abyss North inheritance, the one that passed him the Corsi Pill Sutra and the seed token. The bird beats him to the question by staring him down in surprise and blurting out that he is the same guy who got the Corsi Pill Sutra in the Abyss North. Suning confirms it happened 3 years ago, and the bird is openly impressed that he has already risen from the Void Realm to Dao Realm 6th stage. Smug as ever, the bird even pats Suning with a wing and praises him like a seedling it discovered itself. When Suning looks confused, the bird explains that the one he met in the inheritance was only its clone. That is the first time Suning has ever heard of such an ability, and the bird gets even more pleased when he realizes this talent is apparently unique. Suning throws it an easy compliment, and the bird happily accepts it before getting back to business. The bird asks for Suning's entry token, making it clear that this strange creature is actually the one handling registrations for the Corsi Tower. After taking the token and asking for his full name, the bird activates its bloodline power and marks Suning's identity onto it. The bird keeps the token for now, tells Suning he will get it back when he comes out, and sends him toward the tower entrance. Before Suning goes in, the bird gives one last useful warning: the first 6 floors should not stop him, but the 7th is where the difficulty jumps hard. Suning thanks the bird and steps through the entrance, as the heavy doors slammed shut behind him. Left outside, the bird quietly mutters that Suning's growth speed is outrageous and that he might really have a shot at competing for the future Demon Lord's seat. Inside the tower, the darkness clears and Suning finds himself in a huge empty first-floor hall. Then the first test appears without warning as a black metal humanoid puppet with a long sword materializes in front of him. The puppet's crystal eyes click alive and it lunges at Suning, but to him its speed is laughably slow. Suning answers with one casual burst of astral chi and slices the puppet clean in half on the first floor. On the Corsi Tower's first floor, Suning sizes up the puppet as Dao Realm 4th stage and cuts it down without any real pressure. As soon as the first puppet vanishes, stairs appear, and Suning heads straight up instead of wasting time. The second floor answers him with 6 puppets at once, all rushing in the moment they finish condensing. Suning lets the 6 puppets press him for a moment so he can test them, then confirms their sword chi is only 4th stage lethality. Once he sees they have no hidden trick, Suning answers with 2 astral slashes and wipes all 6 out in one burst. On the third floor, the pattern shifts from numbers to quality when a larger silver puppet appears with a spear instead of a sword. After a brief exchange, Suning reads the silver puppet as Dao Realm 5th stage and starts seeing the tower's rhythm. He works out the rule: odd floors raise the realm, even floors repeat that realm with more puppets. With the pattern exposed, Suning tears through the 4th and 5th floors and reaches the 6th with barely any delay. On the 6th floor, even 6 Dao Realm 6th stage dark gold puppets still cannot slow him down for long. Now Suning understands why the black bird believed he could clear 6 floors but doubted the 7th, where the tower should jump to Dao Realm's 7th stage. Outside the tower, nobody realizes how relaxed Suning has been, but everyone can see his progress by the rings of light spreading from each floor. When the 6th floor light passes almost as fast as the earlier ones, the crowd starts doubting the rumors that this new seed is only mid-level Dao Realm. MOU is visibly rattled too, because Suning's pace says he can kill above his realm instead of merely surviving it. Then the 8th floor light flares almost immediately after the 7th, and MOU realizes Suning cleared the 7th floor too. MOU decides the 9th floor should finally stop him, but he is already convinced Suning deserves at least a high rating. On the 8th floor, Suning finally meets a version that demands real effort: 6 dark gold spear puppets with azure crystals powering them to Dao Realm's 7th stage. Knowing brute force will be slower here, Suning draws the flowing cloud piercer and targets the crystals instead of the bodies. The puppets instinctively guard those cores, so Suning has to force openings with direct close combat and void distortion. It takes him 15 full minutes, but Suning still destroys all 6 and earns a staircase to the 9th floor. At the foot of those stairs, his face turns fully serious because the 9th floor means a true origin connection realm opponent. Outside, the moment the tower signals the 9th floor, the crowd erupts because that alone already proves his rating should be extreme. Some even wonder if Suning can push into the 10th floor, while others insist no one should cross 2 full realms in a row. The 9th floor gives him a single dark gold puppet with 3 azure crystals, a far more dangerous version than the ones below. Suning attacks first because waiting would only let the pressure build, and this fight immediately reminds him of battling Lu Yi. Night Weaver is useless against a senseless puppet, so he stacks his strongest practical combo instead: Hidden Flowing Cloud Piercer and Void Distortion together. That combo finally cracks one crystal, proving he can hurt it, but only barely. As the battle drags on, Suning realizes this is almost exactly his ceiling and that anything stronger in the same realm would likely beat him. Even at the limit, his combat instinct holds up, and he breaks the second crystal to swing the fight in his favor. With only 1 crystal left, the puppet finally drops below him, and Suning pierces through its chest and takes its head clean off. Suning stays on the floor to rest because this victory already told him the truth: the 10th floor should be impossible for him. He still climbs anyway, choosing to test the limit instead of backing down from it. The 10th floor overwhelms him with impossible odds, and after 15 dangerous minutes the tower forcibly ejects him before he dies. The crowd sees him come out and is stunned all over again, because lasting that long on the 10th floor confirms an extreme evaluation beyond doubt. Word spreads on the spot that this newcomer crossed 2 realms in battle, something even the 6 other extreme seeds did not do in the same way. MOU immediately leans in and bluntly asks how Su Ning beat an Origin Connection realm puppet with only core transformation realm strength. Su Ning answers simply that he used a first-class secret treasure and borrowed external help instead of pretending it was pure talent alone. MOU brushes that aside and praises the result itself, telling Su Ning he now has a real chance to stand out among all seeds. Then MOU returns Su Ning's token, and the word extreme is now written on it as his official rating. MOU explains what that rank means: another first-class secret treasure, scheduled resource allotments, and broad access to sect martial resources. Instead of leaving at once, Su Ning politely asks the black bird's name, sensing this strange evaluator is far more important than he looks. After a weirdly hesitant pause, the black bird introduces himself as MOU and tells Su Ning to call him Master Yu. Once Su Ning leaves, MOU privately remembers the humiliating childhood name the Corsi Demon Lord once gave him, and vows not to let anyone hear it. When Su Ning walks out of the lake area, he finds a crowd already waiting and realizes his climb must have been visible from outside. Gu Sanjing hurries over first and excitedly asks if Su Ning really cleared the 9th floor and reached the 10th. Su Ning confirms it, and the crowd tenses for the answer they really care about next. When he also confirms his rating is extreme, the whole crowd breaks into open uproar. That answer instantly places Su Ning beside the sect's two most famous extreme seeds, Duan Chaomian and Yu Qiao. Gu Sanjing is thrilled that he bet on the right person and immediately offers to show Su Ning the residence he prepared for him. Su Ning says the resource hall comes first, and Gu Sanjing quickly switches into helpful guide mode and leads the way. As the two leave, Su Ning's name starts racing across the island because everyone now knows a new extreme seed has arrived. At a riverside villa, Duan Chaomian hears the report and is startled that another seed has earned the same extreme rating. The moment he learns Su Ning did it from Dao Realm's 6th stage and reached the 10th floor, Duan Chaomian stands up in real alarm. Because he has never heard of Su Ning before, Duan Chaomian immediately orders a full investigation. Left alone, the prince admits to himself that a new uncertainty has entered the seed competition, and he does not like that at all. He decides the answer is to cultivate faster, and shuts himself in to push toward Dao Realm 9th stage. Yu Qiao hears the same news and reacts very differently, smiling because the coming struggle for power just became more interesting. At the resource hall, even the elders stare at Su Ning for a while before handing over the privileges due to a new extreme seed. Su Ning receives half a year's resources in one batch, and the total value shocks even him at more than 12 million energy. He is also offered a first-class secret treasure, but he refuses to pick one now because the available options are all the same kind of offensive weapon he already has. After that, Gu Sanjing finally takes him to a small courtyard at the foot of the mountain, and Su Ning likes it right away. Once settled in, Su Ning goes straight into seclusion and absorbs the fresh resources without wasting a day of momentum. When the energy finishes converting, his reserves jump to 33 million, enough to push into Dao Realm 7th stage. That prospect excites him, because if he could already pressure 8th stage opponents before the breakthrough, the next round should change his fighting power completely. He opens the martial arts panel and chooses to spend 30 million energy on the breakthrough without hesitation. The moment the breakthrough begins, Su Ning finally senses true origin power and feels a mysterious connection with the world itself. For the first time, he understands the gap between imitating origin power through techniques and touching the real thing directly. As his insight deepens, Su Ning feels that origin power can give rise to everything, and the meaning of martial cultivation suddenly becomes much clearer to him. A trace of origin power settles into his inner core, and a faint hazy aura forms on its surface as the breakthrough completes. Su Ning steps into Dao Realm 7th stage, elementary origin realm, and his whole presence now feels naturally fused with the world around him. With the realm change complete, Su Ning turns his attention to the next step and prepares to use his last 3 million energy on the Corsi Pills Sutra. Su Ning spends 2 million energy on the martial arts panel and pushes the Corsi Pills Sutra up to the 5th level, leaving himself with 1 million energy. Even after this upgrade, Su Ning knows the technique still will not truly pay off until it reaches the 7th level. With his energy emptied out, he switches goals and decides to test one thing he has wanted since breaking through, Rio Flight. Now in the elementary origin realm, Su Ning rises straight into the air without using gliding force or a flying beast at all. He streaks through the mountain range at high speed, thrilled by how different true flight feels. The new speed shocks even him, because he is already faster than the mid-level Dao Realm flying beast he used to ride. For a moment, Su Ning calculates that he could probably fly back to Abyss North in under a month. But the idea dies there, because the endless sea is packed with dark clouds and lightning that are still dangerous even for him. So he sets a practical plan instead: learn the Corsi Demon Sect first, stay if the resources are worth it, and leave to roam only if they are not. Far away in the imperial capital, two men sit floating in a sealed dark chamber, cultivating an eerie silence. That silence shatters when Duan Huiyao suddenly trembles and coughs blood, his steady aura collapsing into chaos. Duan Hui opens his eyes and calmly asks the obvious question: another failure. Duan Huiyao admits it, and says the damaged true origin has wounded him badly enough that he must rest for at least a year before trying again. Duan Hui tries to steady him, explaining that forcing transcendence in another world's rules is brutally hard even for a genius of their own world. Still unwilling to stay on a dead path, Duan Huiyao asks for coordinates to other outer worlds because he no longer sees real hope in the Arcanist world. Duan Hui warns him that the Arcanist world is only attractive because 10 years there cost them just 1 year here, while the other coordinates mostly run at a punishing 1-to-1 pace. But Duan Huiyao would rather risk slower worlds than keep tearing his true spirit apart on a path he no longer believes in. Seeing he will not bend, Duan Hui finally agrees to hand over the other coordinates once his brother finishes recovering. Their talk shifts back to the mortal world when Duan Hui asks whether his brother plans to rest in the palace for that year. Duan Huiyao refuses, because he now wants the Core C demon sex succession settled within a single year before his strength and attention are tied up again. Duan Hui immediately suggests the easiest answer: hand the sect to third Prince Duan Chaomian and keep it inside the imperial family. That suggestion hits a nerve, and Duan Huiyao flatly says he has never treated the Core C demon sect as property of the Duan imperial family. Duan Hui argues that after all these years no one in the family dares look down on his brother anymore, so clinging to that independence only invites pressure from the court. Duan Huiyao bristles at the implied threat and fires back that if the court pushes too far, he will move the entire sect overseas. Duan Hui drops the issue and asks a different question instead: how does his brother plan to judge the seed disciples? Since Duan Huiyao has not decided yet, Duan Hui offers a blunt solution and proposes making the extermination of the hidden sect the seed's final test. Duan Huiyao instantly sees the real motive and accuses his brother of using his sect as a weapon to wipe out the hidden sect while bleeding the elite younger generation. Duan Hui does not deny it, and after a bitter pause Duan Huiyao still agrees to the plan. Duan Hui adds that the hidden sect has been making bigger moves lately, and his tone makes it clear this campaign is more than routine suppression. When Duan Huiyao asks why Eugene was not killed years ago, Duan Hui admits something troubling: he searched overseas and still could not find him. His explanation is worse than silence, because Duan Hui now suspects Eugene may have already broken through the Dao realm limit by using other world coordinates of his own. Duan Hui decides he will personally go to sea this time, destroy the overseas hidden sect camps, and hunt Eugene before the danger grows any worse. Duan Huiyao doubts he can find a ghost he missed before, but Duan Hui says this time feels different, as if Eugene may be waiting for that final clash too. That answer is enough for Duan Huiyao, and he promises to help, leaving Duan Hui visibly relieved. The brothers leave together, with Duan Huiyao heading back to the sect and Duan Hui deciding to accompany him there first. Back at the Core C Demon sect, Su Ning's extreme seed performance quickly makes him famous enough that disciples keep coming to visit him. Su Ning does not shut them out either, because he already wants to understand the sect's people and power structure better. Among the happiest beneficiaries is Gu Sanjing, who has become an island deacon, gained resources, and even started to feel his long-stalled bottleneck loosen. Because he knows Su Ning is the reason his fortunes changed, Gu Sanjing throws himself into Su Ning's affairs almost like a personal steward. One day Gu Sanjing arrives with urgent news: the sect master has returned. He adds the real shock right after that, saying the sect master has already ordered every seed disciple outside the sect to return. Gu Sanjing immediately reads the meaning behind it: the successor selection is probably being pushed forward much sooner than expected. That warning would have felt rushed if Su Ning were still in the core transformation realm, but now that he has reached the elementary origin realm, he does not think many seeds can overwhelm him. Gu Sanjing still tells him to prepare carefully, and Su Ning answers with easy confidence while accepting the concern. Soon after, at the top of the Core C Tower, MOU receives Duan Huiyao and the silver-haired Imperial Grandmaster in person. The narration finally names the terrifying pair clearly: Sect Master Duan Huiyao and Grandmaster Duan Hui are real brothers, the day and night pillars of the Duan Imperial family. Duan Huiyao asks first about the rumor that a new extreme seed has appeared in the sect. MOU confirms it is Su Ning, and explains that he reached the 9th level as a core transformation cultivator, and even lasted for a while on the 10th before being thrown out. Duan Hui is impressed, calling Su Ning a rare foundation monster because people who can defeat enemies 2 realms above themselves are almost unheard of. Duan Huiyao even compares Su Ning to his own brother's younger self, saying the boy's lower limit may already be the 9th Dao stage and his upper limit could reach Duan Hui. When Duan Hui asks if that means special training, Duan Huiyao refuses to break sect custom but leaves the door wide open by saying Su Ning could still become sect master if he performs well enough. MOU then asks the dangerous question nobody else would ask so casually: whether Duan Huiyao gained anything from trying to break through beyond the Dao realm. Duan Huiyao answers bluntly that he gained nothing, because exploring outer worlds and understanding their origins is far harder than it sounds. Duan Hui admits he was luckier long ago, because the outer world he entered had only just begun developing its own path and was easier to understand, but those coordinates are lost now. Duan Huiyao cuts the topic short and brings the room back to the immediate crisis. First they will focus on wiping out the overseas hidden sect. Duan Hui says the Imperial family is already gathering forces, and the returning Core C seeds will join the extermination teams as top combat power while Duan Huiyao judges them in battle. He also reveals that the hidden sect's 3 overseas camps have already been located, and 3 separate strike groups will go clear them out. But Eugene himself has not appeared at any of those camps for a long time, so the brothers will head out personally to search for his trail. Duan Huiyao then turns to MOU and orders 3 clones to accompany the strike groups. MOU hates being called Black Egg, but still swallows the irritation and obeys because its clones can relay information in real time across the distant sea. A month passes, and every seed disciple finally returns to the sect. With Su Ning included, all 132 seeds gather at Island Heart Peak, the sect master's mountain, and the competition suddenly feels very real. Standing among them, Su Ning quickly realizes just how strong this field is, because even the weakest seed has an origin technique and core transformation strength. At the same time, many of those seeds are sizing Su Ning up too, recognizing the unfamiliar face that should belong to the new extreme seed. Su Ning's eyes settle first on a man in a golden robe, and his bearing makes the identification easy. This is third Prince Duan Chaomian. Duan Chaomian looks back at Su Ning as well, already knowing the Abyss North outsider who climbed up through Duan Chaofeng's side has become someone worth watching. After that, Su Ning notices a graceful woman in yellow with charming eyes and peak 8th stage strength, and he identifies her as Yu Qiao.